4 years ago, we compared US and UK KFC, and since then, a lot has changed.
Many of our favorites have disappeared from the menu. Some new favorites have emerged. Prices have gone up, and some might say the quality has gone down. Is this true?
There's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. Back in 2020, the UK had 3 bucket sizes when it came to KFC chicken. We still have 3 buckets, but now they're different sizes. Previously, we had a 6-piece, a 10-piece, and a 14-piece, but now in 2024, we have a 6-piece, we have an 8-piece, and we have a 12-piece. However, the 10 and the 14-piece do still exist. Now they're just bargain buckets which can only be ordered with sides.
Same as in 2020, we have buckets of 8 pieces. Ugh. 12 pieces. 16 piece. Stop. Stop. All right. It's a lot of chicken.
Recently, KFC customers have taken to the internet to complain about the supposed shrinking of their chicken pieces across the past 4 years. Obviously, this is difficult to prove because chickens vary in size. As far back as 2021 in our US versus Japan episode, Joe found a questionably small thigh piece, for example.
Come on, guys. This isn't whatever this is supposed to be. So we here at Food Wars want to help all KFC customers. What we're going to do right now is find the average weight of each chicken piece. So in the future, you can check the weight of your chicken against our average. So first thing we'll do, the obvious one's the legs. This looks like an average leg, right? 5 American chicken, what are these, drums?
Our breasts average 160 grams, so our thighs on average were 113 grams, and our wings average 75 grams each.
Nice, KFC.
We only found 4 keels in our entire chicken order today, but we'll weigh 4 of those. The keel average was 114 grams, so our wings and drums are like a touch bigger, but everything else is way smaller.
Interesting, KFC. Interesting.
So here are the average weights for both countries' chicken pieces at KFC. Bookmark it, screen grab it, share it to your friends. If your chicken weighs less than this, you might be getting ripped off.
One major shift for KFC since our original episode is the now signature menu item, the KFC chicken sandwich. Tested in 2020, but rolled out across the US after our episode in 2021, this was KFC's response to the Popeyes versus Chick-fil-A Great Chicken Sandwich War. Starting in 2019, Popeyes and Chick-fil-A saw huge growth thanks in part to chicken sandwich sales. So KFC and roughly 20 other chains eventually jumped into the mix. Took them a minute, but when it was released, KFC reported selling over twice as many as its previous sandwiches and said to have had a hard time keeping up with the demand. Personally, I love this sandwich. Let's see how much it weighs. Our chicken sandwich, 245 grams.
Unfortunately, that has not made its way to the UK, and we just have the fillet burger. It's a sesame seed bun with lettuce, mayo, and chicken. The UK fillet burger weighs 175 grams. Also, yes, we call this a fillet burger, not a filet burger. That extra L in there when we spell it makes a difference. What about fries? Well, in the UK, we still just have 2 sizes, regular and large.
KFC also still has 2 fry sizes, the original and the large. Our largest fry.
Our large fries weighed 171 grams, so we've actually got more compared to 2020.
You know, over the past 4 years, I've weighed the large KFC fries like 8 times. Let's go ahead and add that weight and see how we've done over the years. Now, looking at the weight of the KFC fries over this many episodes, so 248, kind of on the lower side over the past 4 years. I know there's a lot of variation with who's scooping the fries or whatever. One thing on everyone's mind nowadays is cost. Inflation has jacked up the prices of just about everything, especially fast food. Take this 16-piece meal. A 16-piece bucket of chicken with 4 sides in 2020 was $43.99. In 2024, $49.99. A $6 or 13.6% increase over the past 4 years.
Back in 2020, we were able to get a 14-piece party bucket for $32.99. That included the chicken, 4 regular fries, 2 corn on the cobs, a large gravy, large beans, and a large drink. That specific deal is not available anymore, but ordering those exact same items not as part of a deal nowadays will cost you £32.85. So that's actually a 0.45% price decrease.
The pre-vamped crispy kernel sandwich in 2020 was $4.99. Today, the famous KFC chicken sandwich is $5.99. That's a $1 or 20% increase.
A fillet burger in the UK back in 2020 set you back £5.09. The fillet burger now will cost you £5.99.
A large fry fry, the large drink, this is a medium, imagine it bigger, and the famous bowl. All more expensive since 2020. Stop the madness!
I'm sure my fellow Brits will be shocked to learn that a regular pot of beans was £1.59 4 years ago. Today the price is £1.99. That means the price has risen by a quarter in just 4 years.
Since 2020, US prices went up 21.3%, and US wages went up 19.4%. The US federal minimum wage has been $7.25 per hour since 2009, but more than 30 states have increased that amount. For instance, in 2020, California's minimum wage was $12 per hour, and in 2024, it's $16 or $20 if you work as a fast food employee. DC, Washington State, Massachusetts, Maryland, and Connecticut are the other highest minimum wage states. It's fair to note that in the past 12 months, US wage growth has beaten inflation, but seemingly not by much. In April, growth was 3.9% versus inflation, which was 3.4%.
Since 2020 in the UK, prices have gone up on average 21.7%. The good news is that base level wages in the UK have risen by 29.7%. Good for us. In 2020, the UK national living wage per hour was £8.72. That's risen to £11.44. Although I will say, I think middle earners in the UK are still kind of getting squeezed by the cost of living.
In the US, these price increases have not made customers happy. In 2024, Yum Brands, which owns KFC, reported a 2% decline in KFC's same-store sales in the first quarter of this year. At the same time, Popeyes saw a 0.5% increase in same-store sales. Now, not great, but some growth. So people are still eating fried chicken.
It's a different story in China, where in the past 4 years, China has become Yum Brand's biggest market.
KFC's revenue in China was $7.2 billion in 2022. So China's still eating KFC, and I do not blame them. If you watch our US versus China episode, they had a giant Hong Kong-style chicken leg. Man, I would love to bite into one of those.
Back in the US and the UK, KFC has recently introduced value menus to try and bring some of those customers back. In the UK, we now have the Kentucky Savers menu. It has about 21 various deals, including individual items and box meals. For example, here we have a snack box. It's one piece of original recipe chicken plus fries for $2.99. Here is the snack box bundle. In the box, you get popcorn, chicken, and fries, and it also comes with a little mini fillet burger, which unfortunately they forgot today. This is the gravy mega box. Here you get one piece of chicken, 2 hot wings, a mini fillet, a regular gravy, and a large order of fries for £5.49. And we have the Colonel meal, 2 pieces, regular fries, and a drink for £6.49. All in all, I appreciate the effort that they've made to try and make KFC a little bit more affordable. I feel like the most food for your money is probably this gravy mega box. This feels pretty hefty.
Here in the US, we have several value deals which vary by location, so these are a few you can get in Los Angeles. Down here is a $4.99 meal for one. It's 2 pieces of chicken, mashed potatoes, and gravy, and an extra biscuit. Right in front of me, we have the meal for 2, 5 pieces of chicken, 2 sides, and 2 drinks. All this, $20. There are several family meals, such as this one. 6-piece bucket of chicken, 4 sides. I condensed the menu and realized I didn't get enough. And 4 extra biscuits, also for $20. Wait, this is $20 and this is $20? Yeah, I think this is probably the better choice here, guys. There's also a Taste of KFC deal. It's temporary, and it's only on Tuesdays. Today's not a Tuesday, but they include something like a bucket of 8 pieces of chicken for $10.
Here's everything from a KFC in the UK that you don't have in the US.
Here are the KFC exclusives in the US you won't find in the UK. One thing that still hasn't made over the UK, and I don't know why, is extra crispy style chicken. The UK, listen to me, as it implies, it is crunchier. I'm assuming more breaded. I don't know what they're doing differently, but usually the flavor is just so much more intense. Let's try it. Listen up. Okay, volume up. Even if you just like are traveling through America via like an airport layover or something, get the KFC extra crispy. It's so good. It's definitely worth it. Also, somewhere in the US, you can get grilled chicken, and they also have spicy style, but not where I am.
I got to try the extra crispy on a foreign exchange episode, and honestly, it's really good. I wish we had it over here. My main criticism of KFC's normal chicken in the UK is that it is a bit soggy sometimes. In the UK, we have a lot of chicken burger options. We have a range of tower burgers. Now, a tower burger in the UK is KFC's way of saying that there is a hash brown inside it. I guess it kind of works because adding that hash brown does add a good amount of height to the burger. This is the regular fillet tower burger. So you have the chicken, which is the original recipe seasoning, mayo, lettuce, cheese, as well as the hash brown and some tomato sauce. You can also get a barbecue fillet tower burger, which is the same concept, but with barbecue sauce instead of the classic tomato. And we have the Zinger Supercharger tower burger. The Zinger refers to the actual chicken itself. The breading of the chicken is a bit spicier on this one. And then we have the Supercharger sauce, which is also a slightly like spicy mayo, kind of like a sriracha mayo type vibe. All in all, I do think adding a hash brown is a worthy inclusion on these burgers. Of the three, I do think the Zinger one is definitely my favorite, so I'll give it a quick try. Yeah, I think compared to the regular one, that extra bit of seasoning in the chicken goes a long way. When it comes to the Zinger burger, you can also get this just as a single burger, kind of like the fillet burger, or you can get the Zinger Stacker burger. Stacker is KFC's way of saying double. This looks pretty well assembled. It actually looks like they've put some sauce between the patties as well. This is a bit of a beast. Even without the hash brown, just the addition of that extra chicken patty really bulks it out a lot. The sauce definitely has a kick to it, that kind of like red sweet chili sauce on that one. It's very tasty.
Come on, yes, you know, we got the KFC chicken sandwich. This thing, a work of art. I love it. Been eyeing it all day. Gotta take a bite. That's the best fast food chicken sandwich. Maybe Popeyes is better, depends on the day, but Popeyes and KFC got the #1 and #2 slot. Period. You can also get that sandwich spicy version. Yes, they had a spicy sauce in here, pickles, which I don't like, but the spicy version of the sandwich is really fantastic. I'm going in, baby. For a limited time, there's also a saucy chicken sandwich. It is the chicken sandwich with a sauce. Hence, saucy. I believe this is the Korean barbecue. Add new sauces to an arguably perfect chicken sandwich. And all the way down here, we got the Chicken Little. Look at this guy. I mean, it's a tender with pickles. We should go back in the Food Wars archives. I don't think I remember it ever being like a tender. I think I remember it being more of a patty. Looks to be like a chicken tender in between these tiny little buns. It's fine. A bit around the pickle.
One that they forgot to give us today, unfortunately, was the mini fillet burger. As the name suggests, it's just a very small version of the regular fillet burger. One thing we could get today, though, is the vegan burger. This came to the menu in 2019. Obviously, they're cooked in a lot of the same herbs and spices that the regular chicken would be. They fry these off-site and then heat them up in the restaurant, never in the same oil that the chicken's in, so they are an actual vegan option. Looking at you, Burger King. You definitely get a similar to chicken texture. Weirdly, I think the pepper comes through. I think they've like seasoned this maybe a little bit more than they even would with the regular chicken fillets. I do think this is one of the best vegan fast food things in the UK right now. KFC in the UK has a line of Twister wraps. Before I even try the food, I like the packaging. It's clever. So, waha. The Twister wrap is a flour tortilla, and inside you have chicken, slaw, and a sauce of your choosing. There are 4 options when it comes to the Twister wraps. You have a Kentucky mayo one, a Supercharger mayo one, sweet barbecue, and sweet chili. The only thing that changes is the sauce, so I just got the one here. This is the Supercharger one. It looks pretty good though. You get the grill marks from where they've clearly actually pressed the tortilla. These are pretty good, honestly. As like a grab and go meal, it's cleaner to eat compared to like a thing of fried chicken.
Not a big wraps guy, but I do remember enjoying the flaming hot one for foreign exchange.
KFC in the UK offers rice boxes and salad boxes. Here is one of the rice boxes. This is the original recipe one. You get the chicken, and then you get a salad as well. Alternatively, you can just get the salad box, where you get the chicken, but instead of the rice, you just get like a double order of salad. Both of these can be ordered as either original, zinger, or veggie versions.
At some point in the past 4 years, KFC 86 the popcorn chicken. Why? I have no idea. Recently, they introduced nuggets. But by the looks of it, they're popcorn chicken, but a little bit bigger. I don't know what happened here. We got a picture of popcorn chicken from earlier episodes. Is it that different? Regardless, our nuggets come in 5, 8, 10, and 12 pieces. Currently, you can get them either regular or the before mentioned saucy. The nuggets, and also the chicken breast for the chicken sandwiches, can be sauced in a wide variety of these sauces. Korean barbecue. Better as a nugget than a sandwich. A lot saltier than you'd think. Mango habanero. Whoa! I like the better than the Korean one. It's got a heat to it. Fast food heat. You know it's there, but it's not. You can definitely eat that whole thing. Chipotle ranch. Just okay. That's the worst one so far. Honey garlic. That's really good. I put that one second. Honey sriracha. I guess KFC is moving honey apparently. Kind of underwhelming. Towards the bottom. The curious and sort of alarming sticky chicky. So sweet and sour chicken. Perfectly fine. These nuggets are really good. I do like them. Most of the sauces I enjoy. I guess maybe they figured they can't have popcorn chicken and nuggets on the menu.
No nuggets here, but yes, we do still have the popcorn chicken. They look pretty similar to the nuggets. I guess it's just a small size difference. Popcorn chicken in the UK comes as either small, medium, or large. Also, we still have wings on our menu. As far as I'm aware, the wings are always hot wings. There's no flavor options. As you can see, they're like way crispier than the usual chicken is. You get those little flecks of breading that kind of crisp up in the fryer. They do have a little bit of heat to them. I'm still surprised you guys don't have those. I know Joe tried these and was pretty impressed.
The UK has wings and the US does not. This is insanity. Everything is upside down.
They're still not nuggets, but what we do have are these dipped bites. The dipped bites are relatively new to the menu. They are a suspiciously nugget-shaped piece of chicken, which are coated in a sauce of your choosing. We have 3 flavor options for these. We have a buffalo dipped bite, we have a Kansas barbecue dipped bite, and we have sweet chili dipped bites. Gonna be honest, not a fan of these as a concept. They're served in these plastic lidded pots with no ventilation, and what you end up with is these extremely soggy, quite sad nuggets. I just think soggy, textureless breading has got to be one of the worst things to eat. KFC in the UK, I actually think is doing quite a lot of things well. These are not one of them.
Obviously, we have this corn. UK has corn on the cob. I have to say, with the stick, I think I would prefer the corn on the cob to corn off the cob. Corn's fine.
In America, they have corn off the cob, whereas we have corn on the cob. I don't know which option I prefer. I quite like corn on the cob. It's satisfying to get your gnashes around a bit of corn like this, although you do end up with a bit more stuck in your teeth. I don't know if it's just because my body is now like crying out for nutrients or not, but pretty good corn.
Mac and cheese, come on. Come on. Mac and cheese at KFC, very good. Biscuits. We've gone back and forth the UK about biscuits. These are not scones or scones or whatever Harry calls them. Okay, it's a biscuit. It's like buttermilk, right? And flour, I think. They're dry, sort of savory. You need them with butter. They're good for sopping up sauces and juices. This thing, the driest thing on the planet. I'm gonna chew on this for a month.
Of course, baked beans are a UK exclusive, although I did think America might have had these on the menu as well. To me, these aren't really British beans. British beans to me are more like a Heinz, where it's quite a sweet tomato-based sauce. Whereas the beans you get at KFC are a bit more barbecue, a bit more savory than I think most Brits are used to, and definitely a bit darker in color. I actually haven't tried these in a while, and they're not quite as barbecue-y as I remember.
All right, the famous bowl, more like the infamous bowl. This used to have popcorn chicken on it back in 2020. Now they have replaced the very popular nuggets. I think I'd prefer smaller chicken distributed around this than these bigger nuggets. I think this is a misstep, KFC. I really think it is. For those of you who don't know, for whatever reason, this whole tub is filled with mashed potatoes. They also added corn and cheese and chicken nuggets, and they covered it with gravy. I don't know what the hell to make of this. It is pure insanity. Gotta try it. See, like already, this nugget's too big to get with everything else. The popcorn chicken was way better for this, guys. This whole thing's potatoes. They're just selling you a huge tub of mashed potatoes with like gravy, corn, cheese, and chicken on it. I don't know who's gotten this more than once. If you honestly, if you're watching this and this is your favorite thing, you get this more than once a year and you've had it at least twice, I want you in the comments to defend this. Because I don't understand why you would get this over like nuggets and mashed potatoes and gravy fries, like a normal meal.
I got to try the famous bowl in America, and honestly, it was really disappointed. Of all the things for it to taste of, I actually thought the corn kind of came through the most strongly, which is not what I expected and not what I was hoping for. However much my body is crying out for nutrients, I still don't want to eat this garden salad. It's lettuce, tomato, corn, and a frankly absurd amount of salad dressing.
And finally, the pot pie. Yuli loves it. I think it's just okay. It's big though, right? This is a meal. Okay. Let's break in there. Not a big peas guy, or like, I like carrots, but warm carrots are kind of weird. Yeah, this does have a nice taste to it.
I do think the chicken pot pie could take off in the UK with a few minor adjustments, because we do love our meat pies over here. And our final side is this southern rice. I know that when Joe tried this in the UK, he was not impressed. It's like a lightly tomatoey, peppery rice. There's like a tiny bit of heat. There's like a whiff of chili powder in there.
All your sides, your beans, the southern rice, nah, not very good. We have a few exclusive desserts over here. This is new, definitely didn't have this in 2020. Apple pie poppers. I'm assuming it's just a little apple pie bite. Apple pie with American fried chicken seems like a yin and yang. Yeah, it's got a nice taste to it. Also, the chocolate chip cake. I mean, I don't have a fork, so. It's just okay. There's also a Colonel Homestyle brownie, which we could not get.
We have a few exclusive desserts from a UK KFC. Unfortunately, most of these are ice cream based and the ice cream machine was broken today. I guess McDonald's aren't the only ones. The other slight hiccup that we have with this is that we were supposed to get the exclusive cookie, which is white chocolate chip. However, they gave us just regular chocolate chip instead. And then our final exclusive dessert is a pineapple stick. It's literally just a stick of pineapple. It seems to have been frozen and defrosted.
Exclusive sauce is in front of me, you know what that means. Sauce talk.
Sauce talk.
We have 4 dips on the menu in the UK that you can't find in the US, starting with spicy supercharger mayo. Honestly, it's pretty good. I think spicy mayo in general is like a favorite condiment of mine. Just that nice, creamy, spicy, salty, tangy flavor contrast.
Honey mustard. It's just okay. Ooh, the KFC sauce. Colonel's got a special sauce. Pretty good. It tastes like a brown mustard and probably a mayo.
Here we have the sticky sweet chili sauce. Nice balance of the sweetness and the heat.
Honey barbecue sauce. They love their honey over there at KFC. Everything's got honey in it now, right? That tastes really good. Got a nice smoky flavor to it.
Here we have a smoky barbecue sauce. Quite thick and gelatinous, this one. Pretty good barbecue sauce. Not too in your face, you know?
America's obsessed with ranch.
You're always slandering ranch, and I do take it personally, so.
Well, I got some bad news for you. This ranch tastes like all the other ranches. Because, as I've said 100 times...
And then finally we have a garlic buttermilk mayo. I guess this is like our take on ranch, maybe. Yeah, definitely got like a slight ranch vibe to it.
This is Buffalo Ranch. Actually, that's pretty good. I don't know if it's always been called this or they're rebranding it, but the sticky chicky, AKA sweet and sour sauce. Do not like. I like sweet and sour sauce, but this, just not hit. You know what it is? It just feels like just sweet sauce. I'm not getting any sour from it. It doesn't taste sweet like honey, which I like. In 2020, we had something called the finger licking good sauce. It might be the KFC sauce rebranded, I don't remember, but KFC dropped the finger licking good branding during COVID.
Then we're on to the drinks. Firstly in the UK, we have Crush'ems. It's basically KFC's take on a milkshake, however they also crush up, hence the name Crush'ems, little pieces of things like chocolate bars and add them into the mixture. We have 2 exclusives today, including an Aero Mint Crush'em and a Milky Bar Crush'em. Aero is great. It's like an aerated chocolate so that you bite into it and it has these little kind of air pockets and it kind of melts on your mouth. It's very satisfying. Love mint chocolate, and here is the Milky Bar. That really does taste like milky, is the predominant flavor there. I'm into it. I will say if you get them fresh from the shop, they are much more resemblant of a milkshake.
Every time we do a KFC, they're doing something fun with the drinks, and this round, they're doing something where they're adding tropical passion fruit flavor to most of their fountain drinks. I didn't get all of them, I got the ones that sounded good. So starting all the way down here, I want to start it off with my man, Mountain Dew Sweet Lightning. I know it makes it sound like a 13-year-old boy, but I love that so much. I really do. 1, 2, 3, these 4 drinks, I added the tropical passion fruit flavor to it. I'm not quite sure which is which. I think visually I got it though. I'm pretty sure this is the tropical passion fruit lemonade. Mix it up. And it is fantastic. Oh man, that's really good.
When it comes to soft drinks in the UK, KFC stocks Pepsi products. That means we have things like Pepsi Max Cherry, as well as a 7-Up Free and a Tango. For the Americans who might not know what Tango is, it's kind of like an alternative to Fanta. The most popular flavor is orange, but they also do, I think, an apple one and maybe a few others.
Tropical passion fruit starry. Because he's been sitting, all the tropical passion fruit flavor has got to the bottom. See, I'm like kicking it up. Could the tropical passion fruit save starry? Nope, still bad. You know what is probably good is this one right here. It is tropical passion fruit Mountain Dew, a sweet, a lightning. I think I'm about to be introduced to my new favorite beverage. You see, here's what you gotta do. You gotta let it swirl like it's a fine wine, you know? Really opens up the flavor, opens up the aroma, gets the tannins circulated, so it's ready for the, what am I saying? All right, here we go. Oh God. I'm like mainlining flavor right. You cannot believe how intense this is right now. It's intense. It's intense. Check it out.
Here we have a Robinson's Fruit Shoot. These are more of a kid's beverage, but you know, which adult doesn't occasionally like a fruit shoot?
Tropical passion fruit, sweet tea. Oh yeah. I'd get behind that. If you don't want to add tropical passion fruit flavor to your soda, I don't know why you wouldn't. You can also go untropically passion fruited beverages like Starry, 7-Up for Gen Z. I hate it. Like, that's 7-Up. Any fans of the show who don't live in the UK, you'd be surprised to know that in the UK, they call what we consider Sprite lemonade. No! That's not lemonade. Lemonade is not carbonated. Lemonade is this. It's this lemon sort of juice, but not really. I don't know how else I can describe it. It's lemonade. So we have American-style lemonade. Ah, I did it the first time. At KFC, it's very good.
UK KFCs also sell a full range of hot drinks. The one I got today was a PG Tips tea, but then we also have a full range of espresso drinks, including an espresso, a latte, a cappuccino, and an Americano. I've never had a KFC coffee before. I don't know how much I trust them, but they're on the menu.
Now that I think about it, coffee at a chicken shop seems kind of weird. I couldn't imagine having a latte or a cappuccino with fried chicken. I like both those things put together. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird. Sadly, we've lost a few key menu items at KFC in the past 4 years. Right now, Food Wars would like to pay tribute to them. It seems like only a few changes in the US, but as you've probably picked up by now, no wings and no popcorn chicken is a big deal to me.
One thing that UK KFC has changed since our first video is its commitment to animal welfare. Or so they said.
In 2021, the YouTuber Nico Amalana filmed a video for joe.co.uk at a chicken farm operated by the meat company Moy Park, which sells chickens to KFC. The video portrayed conditions at the farm as favorable for the chicken's welfare, but the video was sponsored by KFC.
A separate film crew went to the same farm in 2022 with members of the vegan food group VFC. That footage led to a backlash against KFC over what some people believed to be a misleading portrait of their farming practices. The footage showed sick, injured, and dead birds lying on the floor.
KFC responded, "We take the welfare of the chickens in our supply chain extremely seriously. We will continue to work with Moy Park to ensure these standards are being met and will continue to drive transparency, removing misconceptions and ensuring accountability across the industry."
In 2021, the World Animal Protection Organization released a report grading the big fast food chains on their chicken welfare policies. They gave KFC a score of very poor, the lowest possible ranking.
In the US, the KFC brand is struggling. Same-store sales have declined. Last year, they fell behind Popeyes. Popeye sales are up 71% in the past 5 years, compared to that of just 17% for KFC. In 2023, other chicken chains like Chick-fil-A, Bojangles, and Raising Cane's also saw higher growth.
KFC sales were up by 6% in 2023. It's also trying to accelerate its UK growth by buying 200 franchises back from a franchisee. KFC is the 7th most popular dining brand in the UK and its most popular chicken chain.
As the US portion of Food Wars, I think this is my 9th KFC episode, and my opinion towards KFC has changed, and it is way more favorable for KFC. When we first started, I was like, yeah, KFC's pretty good. We tried it, I'm like, yeah, actually I kind of like it. I've shot probably at least one, but mostly more like 2 KFC episodes every year since then, and every time I get it, I'm like, yeah, KFC is kind of awesome.
I do think my perception of KFC was affected slightly by the animal rights controversy. I think particularly now with the rise in other chicken chains in the UK, the competition is just a little bit higher, and I'm a little bit worried that KFC isn't doing enough to keep up. Since we first started doing Food Wars, we've added restaurants like Popeyes and Jollibee to the UK fast food roster. There's a lot of things that those two chains are doing really well, I think in terms of things like the crispiness of the chicken and a little bit extra when it comes to the flavors. I think KFC has remained pretty consistent in the UK, and that is commendable in itself.
That being said, I don't go to KFC outside of shooting the show. I'll hit it if I'm on the road, but I'm not by one. I like to go out and eat. I don't do a lot of delivery, so I'm not eating the KFC that much more often, but yeah, I'll probably get it when I'm on the road.
Having now been to America and tried their KFC, I think the main thing that stood out to me was that extra crispy chicken. If they could just make that the standard chicken in the UK, honestly, I think it would do them a world of good. For me, it's maybe something that's like a snack lunch in a hurry when I'm on the go and I just want one of those little boxes, or it's just going to be like an airport or a service station food where the options are a bit limited.
We've been comparing fast food cheeseburger chains from the US and UK for years.
Today we're ranking cheeseburgers from all the biggest chains to see which is the best in terms of taste and value.
Every cheeseburger is from a chain we featured on Food Wars. We're trying classics you can find in both countries, as well as a few exclusives to the US and UK.
Let's do it.
Let's start off by comparing the standard burgers in both countries. And in front of me we have McDonald's. These are 100% pure beef patties, and American cheese.
In contrast to the US cheeseburgers, the UK versions have cheddar cheese as well as 100% British and Irish beef.
These classics we're reviewing are, of course, the cheeseburger, the double cheeseburger, the Big Mac, and the quarter pounder.
Here we have the cheeseburger, the double cheeseburger, the Big Mac, and the quarter pounder with cheese.
Now, of course, we're going to be giving you the price and we're going to be giving you the weight. But we feel to find the best deal or best bang for your buck, we'll determine every burger's cost per 100 grams. In order to do that, we got a scale. Look at this little guy. I could demolish this. 103 grams. Get that on the cal. And if you wanted the double cheeseburger, please look at this. Look at this sliding out here, guys. I mean, they made this in a hurry. It is 145 grams. 197.
No stone left unturned.
Quarter pounder with cheese.
And of course, the quarter pounder. But which one tastes the best? I know they're kind of fundamentally all the same ingredients, but I think ratios can play a big factor in the overall enjoyment of a food. Let's see how they do. It's the burger that launched 1,000 ships. It's a great burger.
The double cheeseburger, it is better. It is better than the regular cheeseburger.
The iconic Big Mac. They've gone a bit crazy with the lettuce on this one, has to be said. Try and bite from the less lettucey side. They've rejigged the recipe in the UK recently. Still kind of jury out on that one. Not sure if I prefer or not. But an iconic burger.
Quarter pounder with cheese. I mean, this out of all of them to me seems like the cheeseburger. It looks like the Big Mac is the best value, being the lowest price for a cost per 100 grams. Second is the double cheeseburger. So thrifty-wise, I think I'm still gonna learn towards my boy the Big Mac, because even with the quarter pounder with cheese, not the best value, even though cheeseburger-wise, the best taste. But we are talking, 78 cents here. But those numbers matter.
So the order we went through them in is actually the same order as the cost per 100 grams, starting with the cheapest and ending with the most expensive.
In 2023, McDonald's did $53.1 billion in sales, make it the #1 fast food chain in the US by that metric, despite recent reports of the brand losing revenue.
In the UK in 2022, McDonald's turned over a very respectable £1.6 billion. However, partly due to rising menu prices over the past couple of years, the chain is seeing a dip in customers.
On to Burger King. They boast 100% beef patties, flame grilled, and once again, American cheese. In both countries, you can get the standard cheeseburger, but their Whopper, it's a big sandwich. It is the most sold item at Burger King. In the US, they sell about 2.1 billion of these every year. That's an average of 275 every single hour.
Burger King isn't as popular when it comes to fast food here in the UK. It ranks 7th in number of locations, coming behind McDonald's, KFC, and places like Greggs. If Greggs did a burger, it would be game over. Once again, they use British and Irish beef. The site doesn't specify which cheese they're using. To me, just on an eye test, it looks a little bit more on the plasticky side, which leads me to think maybe it's an American cheese rather than just a straight cheddar. Time to weigh them. The cheeseburger.
Let's weigh the big boy, the Whopper.
Again, the smaller burger represents better value per 100 grams.
I just feel like this is unofficially for children. I think it'd be really weird if an adult was like, oh, 1 cheeseburger, please. How's it taste? I think this is the first time in this show I've had McDonald's and Burger King right next to each other. And that is a noticeable difference, the flame grilled. I don't know, maybe it is better.
And of course, the Whopper. If I'm being honest, I have a couple of problems with the Whopper. Firstly, tomatoes come as standard on a Whopper. I don't think tomatoes, particularly fast food, cheap tomatoes, really have a place on a burger. Also, there's something about the Whopper, they always just go wild with the mayo. If you love the Whopper, I'm not coming for you personally. It's just not for me.
I dog on Burger King a lot on this show, I really do. I've always been like, oh, Burger King, but man, it's a tasty sandwich. A little expensive though. But I'm certain this is not the most expensive burger we will be reviewing today. There's one coming up later that may or may not involve 5 gentlemen. More on that later. And on to Wendy's. These are all ground beef patties with American cheese again. Here we have the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, the Dave Single, and the Baconator. Now don't sleep on Wendy's. They did $12.3 billion in sales in 2023, and they're ranked the 5th biggest restaurant chain in America, and the 2nd biggest burger one. Correct. they beat out Burger King.
Wendy's came to the UK a while ago, but closed all its restaurants in 2001. But it returned 20 years later with its first location being in Reading. I had to drive there for the first Food Wars episode and bring back lots of cold food. Not the best. When we ordered today, we couldn't see the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger on the menu, so instead we just have the Dave Single and the Baconator. Let's give Dave a try. It's a really good burger. The bun at Wendy's, I actually really like. Almost elastic, kind of like potato roll, which I think holds up quite well as well, because it's quite a saucy burger, buttered the buns, but it's holding firm, which is impressive. And of course, the Wendy's Baconator. Probably what they're most known for. This thing is thick. It's a double beef patty, quite a lot of bacon. I'd be interested in seeing Joe's reaction to this.
And this, this is just so... What are we doing, guys? There's no vegetables on this, right? Of course there's not. Veggies? What?
This is a great burger. I know that already, but let's confirm.
So I really like that as a bite. Like, that was a really nice bite. I feel if I was eating this whole thing, right? That bite would be like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then I would get to like here and be like, oh no, what have I done? I think I've made a horrible mistake. This is something you eat at your lunch break and then you get back to your desk and you're like, I'm not doing anything for the rest of the day. I'm just gonna look, the kind of, you're doing this like around 3 p.m. like, that is a sleeping pill right there. A delicious one, but I'm wondering, would it just be more cost effective? Would it be more to have 2 of these instead of 1 of these? I don't think so, because you'd be spending. Wait, what is the price of? Wait.
Yeah, it is cheaper.
It is cheaper. Yeah, because it'd be like closer to like $9. Yep. So yeah, if you want meat and bacon and also, get it without the vegetables, it probably seems like it'd be better just to get 2 of these than 1 of these. How do you like that? We're all learning stuff today. Jollibee, which is voted by USA Today as the best fast food fried chicken. I love you, Jollibee, but no, you are not. Jollibee also has cheeseburgers, including this one, the Cheesy Yum Burger. Now, according to Jollibee.com, this very cheeseburger in my hands would cost $4.99. And yet, when we went to the Jollibee to get it this morning, they charged us $6.09. $6.09? Website says one thing, going in person says another. I don't know what you think you're doing, Jollibee. We're going by what we paid. So for $6.09, come on, for this, what are you doing, guys? This burger weighs 132 grams. Yeah, it's a lot. It's $4.61 per. That's ridiculous. Now this isn't the most expensive one for 100 grams. And again, they're online spreading this $4.99 business. $6.09 we paid for this. Jollibee, what are you doing? You're not moving enough fried chicken? You're trying to rip people off? I don't like that. Whoa, this is terrible. This tastes really weird too. You know what this tastes like? It tastes like meatloaf. Okay, Jollibee, you're doing fantastic on chicken, and might I recommend you stay with chicken.
Firstly, I wanted to point out that with our Jollibee burger, they not only put it in a box, but also wrapped it. So it's like playing Pass the Parcel. Oh, God. Here's a single Jollibee classic burger from the UK. On the site, it just describes it as a beef burger topped with cheese, but doesn't specify the origins of the beef or the cheese. Jollibee burger wing. That's £2.57 per 100 grams. Not the cheapest for a single burger. Give it a go. I'm really not getting much beef flavor from that. I'd say that's my main criticism. Considering it is a beef burger, not getting much beef. But all the other elements, and I guess to an extent the beef as well, are working well together in harmony. I really like that. That's a really good burger.
Now I'd like to talk to you about cheese. So far, it has been either American or cheddar cheese on these burgers. USA using American, and the UK has been using primarily cheddar. American cheese tends to be the go-to cheese for cheeseburgers in the US because of its milder flavor, which pairs best with the flavor of the burger, when cheddar cheese can be a bit stronger. Now, it could also be a logistical issue. If you've ever purchased sliced cheddar, you may have noticed that it breaks easier in cold or room temperatures. Yes, I'm pulling it for effect, but you know what I mean. Especially like the good stuff, it really breaks up. See, it It just easily falls apart. So it's probably harder to have in large quantities and be moving around in a kitchen. Unlike American, this guy right here, I mean, it comes in this, in closer inspection. They're both pretty floppy, right? Let's do like a stress test. Which one's gonna break first? Oh, which one's gonna break first? Which one breaks first? See? Because that's how you make a cheeseburger.
This one just says mild and creamy, cheesy singles, which sounds like a dating app profile.
It sounds like something for your Hinge profile.
Here we have an English version of American cheese, which I think from my experience looks pretty faithful. It's got that real rubberiness to it. Not that rubbery, clearly. I actually made some American style cheese from scratch as part of a fast food chemistry episode. And one thing that we realized is that if you throw this at a wall, it should stick. For old time's sake. Told you. And of course the cheddar. Embarrassing.
Oy, now we have Five Guys. Look at this thing. Ugh.
Wait.
Ooh. All right, now Five Guys, famous for serving a higher priced cheeseburger compared to the other chains. You've seen the memes. $15. More than $15, actually, this burger. I mean, it's big, it's definitely the heaviest one, it's a hefty burger. Unless I could put 2 more burgers on top of this. $15, no, too expensive. All right, and the weight of this is 320 grams. Yo, that's a thick boy right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot of beef and cheese. We've done Five Guys on this show, obviously. And I think I was a little harsh on them. I just wasn't that impressed with the burgers. Okay, let's take a bite. Let's see what we got here. Is that cooked? I don't recall sending one of my burger medium rare. I swear to God, if you guys give me diarrhea, that's the end of it. It feels like as the price goes up, the value per 100 grams goes down. Are we noticing that? If any eggheads in the audience want to crunch the numbers, I'm thinking that it might be better to get like 2 or 3 of the smaller burgers compared to one of the bigger ones. You might be getting a better deal. Someone else do that math, I don't want to.
In the UK, Five Guys says its beef is prime 120-day grain-fed meat from Scotland. They also say their beef has an 80-20 lean-to-fat ratio. That came to £3.77 per 100 grams. I'm really surprised by that. I feel like Five Guys is a famously quite expensive burger chain. If you go in and buy a burger, fries, and a drink, I'm often expecting to pay somewhere from like 20 to 25 pounds, which for fast food for one person is a lot of money. Obviously, Five Guys is highly customizable. There are a lot of different options. I ordered this one all the way. That's kind of their standard toppings combination. Given how moist a lot of these toppings are, plus all the sauces, it's quite a wet burger, I would say. In my mind, when I think of Five Guys, I think of the patties as being quite thin, but they're actually not. It's a double burger by standard, but compared to like a McDonald's burger, these are thicker than a standard double cheeseburger patty would be. Do I think it's worth the price that you're paying? You have to wait and find out.
What about Shake Shack? They use Angus beef, which is the first time it's shown up in the US in this episode. They also use a potato bun and appears to be American cheese. First up is the Shake Shack cheeseburger. Boop. And the Shack burger, looks to be about the same but a bit smaller, is 172 grams. All right, so pretty similar. Let's see how they taste. This is definitely more of like a smash patty. It's crispier and thinner. I like this one. Surprisingly, a lot more flavor in the beef. Juicier with the cheese. Maybe because it's Angus beef, it definitely has a more unique flavor. I don't mean that like it's spiced differently. It just feels like a better quality of beef.
Here in the UK, our Shake Shack burgers are made from 100% all-natural Aberdeen Angus beef. That's in Scotland. These weird like tire marks on them. Little tiny motorbike has run over our burgers. Angus actually refers to the type of cow that this meat has come from, the Aberdeen Angus cow. The Angus label on beef has kind of become associated with being a higher quality standard of beef. But this might be more of an advertising trick rather than a guaranteed indicator of quality. Beef quality actually has more to do with the grade of the beef rather than which type of cow it's from. You could have a low quality Angus cow, but you could also have a very high quality Angus cow.
If you were a cow, Harry, what quality would you be?
I'm prime beef. I'm all natural. I'm grass fed. Look at this marbling. Come on. Shake Shack cheeseburger. The cheeseburger is £5.91 per 100 grams, and the Shack burger, that's £5.78 per 100 grams. So per 100 grams, these are both some expensive burgers. The Shack burger being slightly better value when compared to just the standard cheeseburger. One thing I like about Shake Shack is the simplicity, although I will say, when it's that simple, hard to justify such a high price maybe. It's tough because on one hand, I love the simplicity of it. Just the bun, meat, cheese, simple as a burger can get. The beef itself also, really high quality, really nice rich flavor to it. And the way that they kind of smash the patties at Shake Shack, to charge that much money for this, because it's not big either, it's not a big burger, and it is good, but I'm not convinced. Let's see how that compares to the Shack burger. That's much more like it. I actually don't even mind the inclusion of tomato that much on this one. It's a better quality tomato, so it's got more texture to it, a bit more bite, and actually adds some flavor. I do love their rolls as well. It's that kind of potato roll again, so it's a bit more, I guess, like malleable. You can push it nice and flat, but it does hold its own. For the price, is it worth it?
Here are a few exclusive burgers from each of the chains you can't get in the UK. Starting down here, we have from McDonald's, the quarter pounder with cheese with bacon. Yeah, I know, you can get a quarter pounder with cheese, have throw some bacon on there. Not a menu exclusive though, so here in the US it is. At $1.94 grams. Also, you can get this in a single and double options. It's too much meat, there's too much cheese. McDonald's bacon's good. I don't know what they're doing with their bacon, but it's like really good.
This is the triple cheeseburger from McDonald's, which actually is a UK exclusive. They don't have this on the menu in the US. That always surprised me because I thought they were the indulgent country, but hey, here we are. So when it comes to price, this actually is a tiny bit cheaper when compared to the double cheeseburger, which surprises me. I do think my assertion from before is holding true. I think it's a delicate ratio that they've perfected, McDonald's, with a lot of their burgers. Adding another burger just slightly topples that house of cards. Like I say, I was surprised to learn that this is cheaper per pound when compared to the double, but for me right now, I think I'm probably paying that extra 4p per 100 grams.
For a BK exclusive, I went with a very American choice, the Texas Double Whopper. Yee-haw, baby! Look at the size of this thing. Of course it's got cheese, 2 patties, I don't know what's on here. Bacon, definitely. I mean, come on. Ooh, before I bite into it, this bad boy weighs 370 grams. Look at the size of this thing. Look at this. I'm supposed to eat this whole thing? Come on. Everything's bigger in Texas.
That's the best value so far.
No. If our calculations are correct, this might be one of the best values you're getting. For $10.29, 370 grams, $2.78 per 100 grams. Wow. But what about the taste? Ooh. That's actually really good. Have we not covered this before? Wow, Burger King with the value. Take note, McDonald's. Take note, Wendy's.
Here's a Burger King exclusive from the UK, the Barbecue Steakhouse Angus with smoked cheddar cheese. I love smoked cheese, so this could be a problem. Burger King in the UK kind of does like a rotating range of specials, often with one of these Steakhouse Angus burgers as kind of the fancier option on the menu. Before I even try this, I'm going to say it. American cheese is better on burgers. We should probably realize this more as a country, and I think start embracing that side more because it melts so well, doesn't split, doesn't overpower the meat, everything else that's in the burger. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry, guys. I think one issue I have with this, as well as other chains that try and do kind of like gourmet burgers on their fast food menus, is that if I want a gourmet burger, especially when I'm paying almost £10 for it, I think I'm probably just going to go to an actual restaurant and get my food.
Wendy's in the US has plenty of exclusives, but as I've hinted to before in this video, I want to try something different. This right here is the smaller cheeseburger they have in the menu, the Junior Cheeseburger. Now, yes, it's exclusive to the US, but it is smaller, and I'm wondering if the move for value is a lot of the smaller guys. So first of all, we're gonna weigh it. So junior cheeseburger at Wendy's, 112 grams. That's a pretty good deal, right? That's lower than most, isn't it? 285. Now is that a better deal if you got two of these versus one Whopper with cheese? I don't know. No. Too boring. No thanks.
We sadly have no Wendy's exclusive cheeseburgers here in the UK.
Now, Shake Shack, their menu features exclusive items at specific locations, so it'll be possible to even showcase what they have here in LA that you can't get in the UK or even other parts of the country. So I went ahead and got this one, which is the avocado bacon burger. It's 209 grams.
Whoa,
What?
$6.22.
Wow, and I think it's a higher price because of the avocado, right? It's expensive. The fruit that made millennials renting forever. Right there. Hope it was worth it. Mmm. This is really good though. Very generous, very fresh. LA, baby.
At a Shake Shack in London, you can get a Shackmeister burger. The Shackmeister is a cheeseburger with some shack sauce and some crispy ale-marinated shallots. In the UK, we say shallots. I know you guys say shallots. That's wrong. Don't do that. Per 100 grams, this is our most expensive burger of the day, £6.21. It's a good burger. I do like the crispy shallots. They're not quite crispy anymore, but still have a really nice flavor to them. Bit of sweetness, bit of saltiness. But beyond that, they really haven't added much to just a standard cheeseburger from a Shake Shack. And for that price, I just struggle to see how that's worth paying.
Last but not least, down here at the end, we have an exclusive Jollibee burger, the Aloha Burger. As it implies, this is a burger with pineapple. And it's also leaking. See that right there? Is this 2 patties of beef? And pineapple? And bacon? Just like in Hawaii, right? Well, the Aloha Burger at Jollibee in the US weighs 240 grams. What? Oh my God. That's not a great deal either. You know, I kind of like the idea of having pineapple and bacon in a burger. Let's get a bite. The beef tastes weird. I'll go for another bite.
Then finally, in the UK at Jollibee, we have a Jolly Burger Deluxe on the menu. What does deluxe mean, I hear you cry? Well, as often seems to be the case on fast food menus, lettuce and tomato. Let's give it a try. Yeah, I'm not sure if adding lettuce and tomato to a burger does make it deluxe. Jollibee aren't the only place that does this. I feel like there's other culprits in the UK and the US that do that. If anything, I feel like adding bad tomatoes and kind of slightly sad lettuce to a burger can actually make it worse. Kind of the opposite of deluxe. You're making it cheap, sad, other thesaurus things.
Let's rank by price cheeseburgers from lowest price to highest price. Of course, just about every one of the fast food cheeseburgers, straight up, junior cheeseburgers, whatever down here. Wendy's Junior Cheeseburger is the cheapest one. So maybe just get 3 of those instead of 1 of these or whatever. Moving back way up, you see they start to get a little more premium over here. Still McDonald's, I mean, these are bigger sandwiches. They're lower price than the rest of these. Shake Shack literally right in the middle. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of making a lot of sense as far as price. Of course, the Five Guys burger coming in all the way down here. I think it is almost over $2 more than the second most expensive, the Shake Shack avocado bacon burger. You're definitely paying a lot more for Five Guys versus just about everything else. Nothing about this surprises me too much. You know, Shake Shack right in the middle, I thought it was gonna be more on the expensive side, but it looks like a lot of these burgers are more expensive than Shake Shack, which is a surprise. But, as I mentioned before, these are all California prices, so maybe the prices in your part of the country differ, but this is what we got here in Southern California. Even though this, to me, makes about as much sense as I thought it would be. Few surprises. I'm gonna say McDonald's, a lot cheaper than these other guys. Everyone's talking about fast food's too expensive. Just saying.
So here are all of the UK cheeseburgers ranked in terms of price. Not per 100 gram cost, just overall price. We've got McDonald's filling out most of the lower end, Jollibee somewhere in the middle, Burger King somewhere in the mid to high ground, and then it's really just Shake Shack, Wendy's, and Five Guys right at the end. I'm a little bit surprised because honestly, at a glance, I don't think any of these stand out as massively cheap looking or particularly expensive looking. It's pretty obvious that the higher up you go, you do start to get bigger burgers for your money, with Shake Shack I think being the exceptions there. McDonald's buns used to look a bit cheaper, they weren't quite as glossy and shiny, but like I say, they changed their recipe at the start of 2024, and now they look a bit shinier, a little bit more visually impressive. I think broadly in terms of price, the things I've learned today are that Five Guys is, on paper, as expensive as people think it is, but I was shocked by Wendy's. Wendy's is really high up on the scale, particularly that Baconator, a really expensive burger if you look at it.
This is probably not the most accurate way to show you what's the best value because of sizes. So instead, let's take a look at the ranking for price per 100 grams. So here it is, the breakdown of the best value per 100 grams down here. Lowest cost per 100 grams, getting the best deal over here. Not so great. Is this all Shake Shack? Yeah. That's all the Shake Shacks. Shake Shack. And the worst value is this avocado one that, I mean, it's probably only available at the Shake Shack near the studio, so no worries if you can't get it, but yeah, Shake Shack, too expensive for what we're getting. Also, of course, Five Guys, got the Baconator over here. Guess I'm not too surprised by this still. I mean, Big Mac's down there. Great value for that sandwich, even though, you know, prices have gone up still compared to everybody else. Overall, I guess I'm not too surprised. It's like all the burgers around here between $3 to $4 per 100 grams. Over here between $4 and $5. And then these guys over here, too expensive. Too expensive over here. No thanks. Yeah, I guess I'm actually surprised how much the Jollibee burgers are. Both these guys. Considering it tastes weird. How bad they taste.
Here are the burgers in the UK ranked by value per 100 grams. There's actually been quite a lot of movement. Notable changes include the triple cheeseburger being slightly better value than the double cheeseburger from McDonald's. The Whopper actually representing really good value for money. We've seen all three of the Shake Shack burgers slide to the very end. So in terms of cost per 100 grams, these are very expensive burgers. Five Guys was number one if you just looked at pure price. But if you look at it in terms of how much burger you're getting for your money, it's actually dropped well below all the Shake Shack burgers as well as the Wendy's Baconator. Pleasantly surprised by the Big Mac's positioning actually. It's a big burger, but still not costing you very much. In terms of a fast food rivalry, we've got the Big Mac coming in slightly cheaper per 100 grams when compared to the Whopper. I have to say as well, given the tweaks that McDonald's made to their bun, it actually kind of looks slightly more premium as well compared to the Whopper. All in all, quite a few surprises there, I'm impressed. We've talked a lot about value here, but we don't just eat with our heads and our wallets, we also eat with our taste buds and our hearts. I'm gonna have a quick think and come up with some of my top burgers from today.
Yes, we've gone over how much they cost, and yes, we've gone over what is the best value per 100 grams, but I eat with my heart, and these today are my favorite tasting ones. All that information has, you know, helped with the decision, but overall, these are the ones I like the best. Starting down here was the Shake Shack Shack Burger. Great flavor. I like how it's the smash burger patty, which is really good. Not thrilled about the price, so loses points to that, but overall tasty burger.
Same as you, Joe. My number 8 spot goes to Shake Shack. This is the Shack Burger, which of the three that I tried today, I think was my favorite.
Then we got the Whopper. Yeah, you saw it earlier. I'm surprised this flame grilled, the flame grilled flavor actually really does it for me.
Number 7, we got the Whopper. I did want to include one from Burger King on here, and I think of the ones I've tried today, the Whopper was the clear winner. I do love the flame grilled effect that you get on those Whoppers from Burger King, and it's something that I think a lot of the other chains could learn from.
Moving up the ranking here. Sorry, I'm a California boy, so you know I gotta have my avocado. Avocado and bacon at Shake Shack. It is the worst valued one, but ooh. It also tastes really good.
Number 6 goes to the Wendy's Baconator. Another one that loses points because of just how expensive it is pound for pound, but it is a very good burger. Like I say, I think this one really pushes the limits of how much meat you can have in a burger and still have it be an enjoyable mouthful. But it just about pulls it off by the skin of its teeth. It's really tasty, it's meaty. That bacon I think is great. Probably the best bacon I've had on like a UK fast food menu, so they're doing a lot of things right.
I got the Big Mac, come on. The Big Mac. Always love it, always delicious. And now I know it's got great value too. Good on you, Big Mac.
Bit of a surprise package maybe in the middle there. The Jollibee single burger I actually really enjoyed. I stand by what I said about it maybe not being quite meaty enough. I think if you made that a double, it might remedy that problem. It's just a good burger.
Dave Single over the Big Mac? Yeah, I'd say so. I'm talking his cheeseburgers here. The Wendy's, it's got this unique flavor to it that I really like. It's juicy. Yeah.
Coming in at number 4 for me, the McDonald's Quarter Pounder. We all know how a Quarter Pounder tastes. It's just a great burger. It's well executed. Compared to a lot of the other McDonald's options, you get that thick patty, which has a bit more juice to it, a bit more bite. You get the onions in there, the ketchup, and it all just works. It's another one of those burgers that I think McDonald's has perfected the formula of over the course of many years.
Coming to number 3, sorry, Harry, I know this is your favorite, but the double cheeseburger. It really is the optimal balance of cheese and beef. And cheeseburger gets really good. But if I was gonna get a cheeseburger at McDonald's, I'd get my number 2. Probably go with Quarter Pounder with cheese. I mean, just come on.
I've kind of surprised myself with this one, to be honest. These days, I don't eat much Five Guys, partly because of this preconception I have about how expensive it is. It is an expensive burger if you just look purely at the cost, but having learned today that pound for pound, it's not actually that bad compared to some of the other fast food options, I actually kind of like it a little bit more than I did coming into today. I feel like with McDonald's in general and with the Big Mac, they've kind of really refined the amounts of things that go onto each burger. They've got those guns with the sauce, for example, really precise controlled measurements of sauce, a certain amount of onions, whereas with the lettuce, it's still the Wild West. They're just chucking as much as they want on there.
And my favorite, apparently, of both taste and value, the Texas Double Whopper. I had no idea. To be honest, I don't know if I would ever get this because it's just so gigantic. I maybe just get the sandwich and nothing else. It's dripping, but the flavor in this thing, oh man. I'm going by taste too. I know that's weird to say like, this is my favorite, but also like I wouldn't order it. It's so big. I can't eat that much.
Call it bias, call it bad taste, call it whatever you want. But for me, my number 1 burger, pound for pound, is still the McDonald's double cheeseburger. I was surprised and honestly a little disappointed to learn that the value isn't quite as good compared to the triple cheeseburger. However, honestly for me, I think it's still worth paying that extra little bit per 100 grams to achieve what they've achieved here, which for me is pretty much the ideal cheeseburger ratio. Every mouthful is meaty, it's cheesy, it's saucy, it's bready, it's tangy with those pickles and onions. It's just a wonderful burger. It was consistently at the best end for value and for flavor as well. So yeah, all in all, that's still my number 1. We're comparing fish and chips in the US and the UK. This is Food Wars. We got our food today from the Golden Chippy in Greenwich. For me, it's a pretty classic British fish and chip shop.
For the US, we're using a few different fish and chip sources. Most Americans are familiar with the pirate-themed fish chain Long John Silver's. This is where we got a majority of the food today. We also got a fish and chips order from a local restaurant.
All of the food that we ordered today came from Assault and Battery here in New York. They seemed like the most close to a traditional fish and chips from the UK. And it got the Harry stamp of approval.
The most popular fish and chip fish in the UK is cod. Our chippy offered it in 2 sizes, regular and large.
At a Long John Silver's, the main fish they serve there is Alaskan pollock. And it comes in a bunch of sizes. Starting down here, a 1-piece, just a piece. Then you get a 2-piece as a meal, a 3-piece as a meal, and a 6-piece as a meal. Now, there's also 12-piece family meals and 16-piece family meals.
Let's weigh the UK cod portions. Our regular cod was 270 grams, and our large was 352 grams.
How many LJS pieces of fish would equal that? Let's find out. 1 was 73. This is as close as I'm gonna get it without breaking up fish and it getting kind of gross in here. So this Long John Silver's Alaskan pollock pieces is 364 grams. 5 piece of LJS equals a little more than 1 of their large cod.
I also wanted to measure them to check the length. So our regular cod is 10 inches long, and our large cod is 12 inches, a foot-long cod. UK chippies are famously generous with their chip portion sizes. No, I'm not going to call them fries in this episode. Our local chippy offers them in 2 sizes, regular and large.
Here in America, we call those fries, yet we still call this fish and chips. So the chips that came with this order will weigh right now.
So our regular was 682 grams, and our large portion came to 927 grams, almost a kilogram of chips.
148 grams. Pathetic. I just want to point out that this whole meal, while I'm here, 305 grams. Hey, I'll even weigh the lemon you don't eat. Oh, thanks, 317.
We can't cover all of the regional delicacies that you'll find across the UK, but we've picked a chippy that we think covers the basics.
It's a similar deal here in the US where fish and other seafood are consumed all over the country in a bunch of different forms. We'll be covering classic fried fish options and using Long John Silver's as a baseline. or bass line. Get it?
We'll start with the fish itself. The range can vary every day as it depends on what's available at the market. The best fish and chip shops will be getting their fish fresh every day rather than keeping things frozen for too long. Cod is the UK's most popular fish and chip shop fish. It accounts for around 64% of the fish that we consume at Chippies. Haddock follows that with around 19% of the market share.
So right now the fried fish at Long John Silver's menu is pollock and in some locations cod. Here's the pollock from Long John Silver's. Here's a cod from our local fish and chippery. Now Long John Silver's fish option seems to vary year on year. Cod was a permanent menu item, then disappeared for a while, but now it seems to be back. Cod is fluffier. This is really dense. Like if you could see the pollock, it's flaking like fish would, right?
Gotta arm myself properly with some classic British chip shop forks. I mean, cod is the classic. Haddock is strongly favoured by the north of England and most of Scotland. Haddock is great. It's very flaky, got quite a nice light texture to it. I kind of want to do like a side-by-side with the cod because I sometimes struggle to tell the difference between those two, to be honest. The haddock is super light, super flaky, almost like melts in your mouth. I'd say maybe the haddock also has slightly more of a fishy flavour than the cod.
So I have the haddock and the cod in front of me. I'm gonna try to see if there's any sort of difference in the way that each tastes. This is the haddock and this is the cod. Okay, let's start with the haddock. I don't feel like the haddock has a very fishy taste or a strong taste at all, but let me take a little piece of the actual fish. Very, very, very slightly has like a fishy taste, but you can barely taste it in the batter. It's really good though. I like that less. I thought these were gonna taste a lot more similar, but they actually taste pretty different. I really do not like the taste of cod, I guess. I know Harry said that the haddock tends to have a stronger, fishier taste, but I disagree. I feel like this is a much more tame and subtle fish flavor, and this is like really in your face. Fish. Fish. It actually reminds me of frozen American fish sticks.
We were also able to get rock today. I wouldn't say this is a super common one. Rock actually refers to a species of fish called the rock salmon, which is also known as dogfish. The fun thing about this one is that it's actually a species of shark. I do find that this one has a much more like meaty texture to it and quite a strong flavor. You might look at the rock portion here and think, oh, it's a lot smaller, but I do think it's just like a lot more dense and rich. Just admire this piece of plaice real quick. As you can probably tell by looking at it, plaice is a much flatter fish. One thing I do love about plaice is that given how much surface area there is, that's just all like an opportunity to crisp up. The meat itself stays again, nice flaky, strong flavor to it. Next up we have the halibut. You can already see just from tearing that apart that this has a bit of a denser texture to it, not quite as flaky. And then finally we have skate on the menu. We actually got this one grilled, which is an option that you can have with all of the fish on the menu at the Golden Chippy. I will say having grilled fish on the menu isn't super common at fish and chip shops across the UK. This might just be a nice little bougie London option.
So here we have two other seafood options from the same fish and chip shop. We have sole and we have some battered shrimp. I have never seen shrimp battered with the tail on, and the tail is also completely battered. Can't you just like accidentally eat that, I guess? Like if you didn't know? It's huge. These are big shrimp. Yeah, this is really good. I've never hated a shrimp dish. I have had sole before. I've had Dover sole and it was cooked completely differently, not battered, but let's taste it. It smells way better than the cod. It's definitely a fishier taste than the haddock, but not as fishy as the cod was, in my opinion. I think this is actually really nice. I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to try malt vinegar on fish for the first time. I've only ever had it like on oysters. This is really good. I really like it.
Then we have what I'll call miscellaneous seafood options. Cod goujons. Goujon is basically a fancy French word for a nugget or a tender. I feel like goujonifying something is a good way to get kids to eat it. Scampi is actually an Italian word that refers to the tail of pretty much any kind of prawn. In the UK, however, it pretty much only refers to the tail of a langoustine. A langoustine is actually closer to a lobster than a prawn, with a long tail and claws. Despite the biological differences, in the UK, a lot of people do still use the terms interchangeably.
A chain like Long John Silver's does offer a lot of varieties of shrimp, so all those varieties could be considered an exclusive. The Long John Silver's in Los Angeles does not, unfortunately, have those shrimp options. The only one we could get is the battered shrimp. In the US, size is one general indicator. Shrimp is the more common term, but prawns are sometimes used to describe larger varieties. Here are shrimps that are big-ish, and we also got shrimp tacos from a spot across the street.
Here is one of our peeled scampi.
I mean, these are pretty big sized. No one's like, is this a prawn?
So yeah, I'd say probably more on the langoustine prawn side, definitely not a shrimp. You know what, after tasting it, that actually does have a much more lobstery taste than a prawny taste to me. So that actually might be doing it by the book at the Golden Chippy.
I'm not impressed by big shrimp. They're meant to be small. We use the word shrimp to describe something small. Shrimps should be small. Put it on a billboard.
Next up we have cod roe. If you see cod roe on the menu at a British chip shop, what you're actually getting is kind of like a pressed, almost like pate version of fish eggs. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The texture's not brilliant, but it's also not terrible. It kind of just almost reminds me of the texture of like tuna or something, like raw tuna. And then here we have a fish cake. Generally speaking, it refers to a mixture of potato and fish. Yeah, this one in particular, it just kind of feels like a more grown-up fish finger, which I like. Moving away from the fish, there are lots of other staples on a British chip shop menu that might blow the minds of the average American. We'll start with some sausage options. Here we have a jumbo sausage. It is one of those kind of like very nostalgic chip shop greasy spoon sausages that they all seem to have. Here we have a battered sausage. It's literally one of those dipped in batter and fried. I love these. These were actually usually my go-to order when I was a kid and we would get fish and chips. And then this alarmingly red sausage on the end is a saveloy. Saveloy is a British classic. Traditionally, they were made with pig brains, although nowadays I think that has been foregone in favor of just regular ground pork. It's a heavily spiced sausage with a distinctive red casing. It gets this from being boiled in water, which has food coloring added to it. One thing I do love about these is the thickness of the casing and the kind of snap that you get. These have always kind of fascinated me because it's somewhere between like a standard British sausage, but also with kind of like hot dog elements to it.
Yeah, I remember that sausage. It tasted weird. It tastes like a sausage that's wrong. It tasted like somebody guessed what a sausage was supposed to taste like.
I was able to get a battered sausage, and that's what it looks like. That's actually really good. I definitely understand now why Joe is always saying that UK sausages taste different. They do, but it's got a really nice crunch from the little casing, and it tastes really, really good with this batter. I think the sausage brings a much needed saltiness to the batter. So Harry likes to compare this to an American corn dog. I just don't see it. I mean, I guess I kind of see it a little bit because it's a type of sausage inside of a batter, but that's literally where the comparison ends for me. The batter is completely different to corn dog batter, and the sausage inside is not a hot dog. So it's a totally different taste. They're cousins, I'll give you that. Katya, please put a picture of a corn dog like right here. And then tell Harry that he's crazy.
Pies are on pretty much every British fish and chip shop menu. Here we have a steak and kidney pie and a Cornish pasty. Steak and kidney, in terms of pie filling, is about as British as it gets. I feel like often I will just lean for a full steak pie rather than a steak and kidney, but that's actually really good. You're not really getting full pieces of kidney, which is often what puts me off because the texture is a bit weird. We have sandwich options at UK Chippies as well. Firstly, we have a quarter pounder cheeseburger. Obviously, this isn't what most people would go to a chip shop to get. We also have a chicken burger. I have a real soft spot in my heart for like a bad chicken burger. The patty in this one is kind of like a big chicken nugget. And then we also have a cod burger. This one of the three looks by far the best. The shop we went to today also sells chicken. I wouldn't say this is common across the UK. I think it might just be more of a London thing. But we were able to get some southern fried chicken, a quarter roast chicken, and chicken nuggets.
On the sides, here's a few sides. You can get a Long John Silver's, and also we've got American chips stroke fries. Starting down here, LJS has green beans, corn, slaw. You know what it is, right? You can also get rice and cheese bites from various Long John Silver's locations. This right here, I've maybe mentioned this a few times on Food Wars or Food Tours episodes, are hush puppies. A donut hole is the best way I could describe it, even though it's not. It's a piece of dough that's deep fried. Let's take a look inside this guy, right? It's just deep fried breaded ball. It's more savory than sweet. You have a bit of an onion and garlic flavor to them. Usually dip them in a sauce. These are good when you're eating really greasy fish and even greasy fries because they're dry, so they really like sop up that grease. These are fantastic. I could eat this whole tray. The fries you're gonna get at a US fish and chip spot or a Long John Silver's are going to vary. These are the ones we got today, crinkle cut. I've been to the fish and chip spots in London, and I felt like the fries, chips, they were thicker, denser, and not super crispy. I think you guys like to just dump all your malt vinegar and stuff on the fish and the chips. Totally get it. I'm certain There are places in America that do more of the thicker steak cut fries with the fish and chips, more traditional. I just think when you're dealing with Americans in America, when they think of chips or fries, they're just thinking of French fries, a majority of them. So this is probably what we're gonna get at most fish and chip places.
British chip shop chips, or chippy chips as they're affectionately known, are fantastic. They're very distinct from the average chip or French fry that you might find elsewhere. You get potatoes, you peel them, you slice them thickly, which is very important. They're usually soaked in water to remove some of the starch. They're usually blanched in oil at quite a low temperature before being given a proper second cook at a higher temperature. The result really is quite unique. You get a thick cut chip, which when it's hot can be a bit crispy on the outside, but because of how thick they are, you still retain a lot of that kind of soft, chewy, potatoey goodness in the middle. Not everywhere, but sometimes they are cooked in the same oil as the fish as well. So you get all these flavors kind of mingling together. And it really does produce just a very unique chip experience.
I'm gonna try the traditional chips with some salt and vinegar. I actually think the vinegar tastes better on the battered fish than it does the chips, but that's just a preference thing, I think. I don't feel like it meshes really well with it. It just feels like I'm eating a wet fry.
We can't talk about British chip shop sides without talking about mushy peas. These ones are, I would say, pretty representative of a UK mushy pea in general. They have this quite almost alarming green color to them, and there's just something about them that pairs really well with chip shop chips and fish. I'd say that's very much like a don't knock it till you've tried it food, where it might look a bit intimidating or a bit weird until you try it, then you try it and you're like, oh, I get it now.
That's not terrible. It's definitely got something extra in there. It's not just mashed peas, but I'm gonna dip one of the chips into the mushy peas. Harry said I had to try it this way, bottoms up. That's actually really good together. I like that combo.
The chip shop we went to today offers baked beans as a side. Maybe not one you'll find everywhere across the UK.
These are just as yummy as I remember. I just feel like the portion is so big, I can't even imagine eating this big of a bean portion, but the sauce is so good.
A pretty common thing to find on a UK chip shop menu is just a bread roll. The type of bread that you get varies. This is kind of more like a crusty bread roll, but I've definitely seen kind of softer, more BAP style on the menu as well. This one comes buttered. The main reason why they offer bread rolls at fish and chip shops is so you can craft your own chip butty at home.
I had no idea what a chip butty was, and never could I ever imagined it was just 2 pieces of bread with chips inside of it. I don't get this one. I'm gonna need Harry to explain this one to me. I don't get it.
Chip butty, for those who do not know, is an iconic British dish where you take a bread roll, you take chips, you put it in the bread roll, Bob's your uncle, you have a chip butty. You can optionally add other things. You can add some mushy peas in there, might want to vinegar that, you might want to maybe put some fish in there as well, create a sandwich, but in its simplest form, that is a chip butty right there. That's butty, B-U-T-T-Y, which is a regional word for a bread roll. That is another one that can change all over the UK depending on where you are. You might hear the word balm, you might hear bap.
This just looks like it would be the driest, starchiest bite in the world, so we're gonna skip that one.
Almost all fish and chip shops in the UK will have a range of pickles on offer. I would say we have the big 3 right here. We have a pickled onion, a pickled egg, and of course, a pickled gherkin. These are understandably a bit divisive. I feel like pickle things in general, you either love or you hate. I don't eat these things a lot, I'm gonna be honest. I think the main thing about it that does put me off is the texture, but the flavors are really good.
I've definitely had pickled red onion before, but never a whole pickled baby onion. I don't even know what kind of onion this is. I've never had this. It's not like a far jump from a red pickled onion, but I also would never eat just like, I'm not popping a whole onion into my mouth. This is a little, like it's too much.
Pickled egg. I was about to praise them and then I just got a whack of it in the back of my throat. It's not my favorite thing to pickle. So inside it's just kind of like a hard-boiled egg, but obviously with a lot of that vinegary flavor on the outside. I think the egg is it's so over, and the gherkin is we're so back, because who doesn't love a nice pickled gherkin? A pickle we can all get behind.
All of America, maybe they would like these kind of beans, since beans are already part of like barbecue culture, so this wouldn't be a huge jump. But the mushy peas, the chip buddy, that's confusing.
Then we're on to what I like to call the we have a fryer section of the menu. In this category today, we have a vegetable spring roll. We also have onion rings and also garlicky mushrooms. I do like a garlic mushroom. Now it's time for sauce talk.
Sauce talk.
Here's a wide variety of sauces we can get at Long John Silver's and other fish and chip spots. Malt vinegar, let's go. Yeah, that's fun.
Curry sauce is found pretty much all over the UK and is a personal favorite of mine. They add a lot of thickeners to the mixture because they always have such a gloopiness. They're quite glossy. It just pairs really well with chips. There's like a sweetness to it. It's well spiced.
Some places, like the place we got the cod fish and chips from, will provide their own sauce, their own signature sauce. Some places, they'll just be generous with something that maybe their own recipe, because I'm telling you, the fish and chip game is as follows. Have the best tartar sauce possible. We'll forgive how the fries are, we'll forgive how the chips are, if the sauce is on point. And this sauce, hang on, this is a very good sauce. Yes, I would frequent this place based on the sauce.
Our local chip shop in London also has gravy on the menu. This thing is gloopy and gelatinous. Chips and gravy, typically more of a northern thing here in the UK rather than a southern thing. Tastes very much just like a Bisto gravy, but it's good. I like it.
Here they got a cocktail sauce. Yeah, ooh, Long John Silver's. Your cocktail sauce is fantastic. Oh man, generous with the horseradish. That's what I'm talking about.
Obviously, we have the classic condiments, including ketchup and mayo.
Long John Silver's also has ketchup, ranch, honey mustard, barbecue sauce, hot sauce, lemon juice.
And of course, we have that tartar sauce from before. This one is homemade and honestly, one of the better ones I've had. Really tangy.
Yes, it's a Long John Silver's tartar sauce, but in the US, a lot of places are gonna throw at you packets of some sort of tartar sauce, you know? They don't think much about it. Now, Long John Silver's was smart to package their own. I'm hoping that is not just a generic brand that they slap their name on, that they actually have a recipe for it. It tastes like they do. I've just been informed that the UK spells their tartar sauce T-A-R-T-A-R-E. We spell ours T-A-R-T-A-R. The tartar with no extra E is the word that we also use to describe dental plaque.
You might have heard that Brits love to put salt and vinegar on their fish and chips, but you're only half right. What a lot of Brits are actually adding to their chips is this. It's a non-brewed condiment. For something to be called vinegar, it actually has to be fermented to produce the acetic acid that gives it that tang. The trouble with that is that it takes time and money. What you'll find on many fish and chip tables across the UK is therefore this non-brewed condiment. Functionally, it's exactly the same as vinegar. We also have an onion vinegar or an onion non-brewed condiment. Finally, the drinks. These will obviously vary depending on the location you're at, but typically you'll find things like Coke, Fanta, and standard soft drinks. What I wanted to call attention to was some of the more traditional British soft drinks that fish and chip shops in particular have really stayed loyal to. Firstly, cream soda. I'm not sure if this is something that's drunk in America, but this is definitely a classic British soft drink. The fact that my granddad used to love cream soda is mostly what I'm basing that on.
I was actually able to scrounge up quite a few traditionally British and also Scottish drinks. So first up, we have Ben Shaw's Dandelion and Burdock. I don't know what any of this means. It smells like cream soda. Yep, that's literally just cream soda. That's good.
Here we have a personal favorite of mine. It's Dandelion and Burdock. Dandelion and Burdock is actually a drink that has been consumed in one form or another since the Middle Ages here in the UK. Back in the day, it was a form of mead made with fermented dandelion and burdock roots. Bit different nowadays. It's just a pretty standard carbonated fizzy drink. Cheers. It's just good.
Next we have White's Lemonade. I believe that lemonade in the UK is carbonated, so that's definitely different. Here it is not traditionally carbonated. It kind of tastes like cleaning liquid. Okay, next we have, I don't know if this is pronounced Tizer. Tizer doesn't sound right, but if it is right, I'm sorry. But on this can it says it's the Great British Pop, so I wonder if it tastes like cola. Oh yeah, it kind of smells like Coke. But it's not, oh, is it red? It does not taste like Coke. To me, it tastes like it has some sort of citrusy flavor in there. I cannot put my finger on it. Next, we have Iron Brew. I believe this is a Scottish beverage. I mean, this has much more of a medicinal aftertaste. This is better. So the flavor of this is supposed to be citrus and vanilla. I'm not really getting a ton of citrus notes. Definitely maybe some vanilla. It just tastes like cream soda. It's a little too sweet for me, but it's pretty good.
And then finally we have a bitter shandy. Bitter shandy is another British classic. Traditionally it's a 50-50 mix of a bitter beer and a sparkling lemonade. The type of bitter shandy that you get in cans usually isn't the same. It's less alcoholic. I think this one is 0.5% alcohol by volume, which is the same as most non-alcoholic beers. I'm not much of a bitter drinker myself, but that is really good. They've diluted it to the point where even I am like, yeah, that's really tasty.
We couldn't find Club Shandy, but we did find this bar Shandy Aid. I think they're supposed to be similar. That was really bad. It smells like beer, but it doesn't taste like beer. In the US, shandies are typically beer mixed with some sort of lemonade. This tastes nothing like that, if that's what they were trying to go for. Moving on to something I know very well, but I've never had this flavor. This is the Fanta pineapple and grapefruit. That sounds really yummy. This is delicious. Yum. Take that shandyade taste right out of my mouth. We also have two beers, London Pride and the Boddington's Pub Ale. I feel like out of all of them, the only one I see Americans gravitating towards might be the Fanta. I mean, we do like cream soda here too, so the Dandelion and Burdock and the Iron Brew might fit that vibe a little bit. I did get a little extra special treat from Assault and Battery. They had this deep fried Mars bar. We're tasting that. This is good, but I feel like this type of batter is not my favorite with candy. It's like too thick, it's too much, but it does taste very good.
A regular portion of cod from our local chippy is £10 when ordered to go. Non-Londoners might wince at that price, but honestly that's a pretty good deal in the capital. A regular portion of chips from our local costs £3.50, so a complete fish and chip supper would total £13.50.
A comparable option would be this Long John Silver's 3-piece with fries combo meal. Comes with 2 sets of Hush Puppies. Sorry, I've been snacking on them all day. There should be more. And 2 sides for $13.99 American. Now this is less expensive than the UK meal and what looks to be more food.
The price of regular cod and regular chips from Assault and Battery is $17.95. $17.95 does seem pretty good for the amount of food that you get. The portion of fish was really big, the portion of chips was pretty big, so I can see myself being decently full eating that portion. I think seafood in general in America has some pretty big price discrepancies, at least here in the tri-state area it does. Shrimp can cost you anywhere from like $15 to $20 at the grocery store, so this price seems pretty normal for a decent piece of fish. I think any cheaper and I'd be suspicious of the fish. The quality was great though, so I'd be fine with paying the $17.
Fish and chip shops have come under some criticism recently for subjecting their customers to some of the steepest price rises in the UK food scene. Recent data from the Office for National Statistics found that the average price for a portion of fish and chips in the UK is now £9.88. That's up from just £6.48 in 2019, so a 52% increase in that time period. It's not that we're being gouged by fish and chip shops, they've just suffered a perfect storm of rising costs. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has driven seafood prices up due to increased tariffs on imported fish. Changing climates have affected potato harvests and caused potato prices to rise as well. And of course, this has all been compounded by the increased energy costs all Brits have faced in recent years. The vinegar maker Sarson's issued a stark warning to Brits last year that unless things improve, almost half of British fish and chip shops could close by 2025. They urge Brits to eat more fish and chips in order to save our chippies and protect our national dish. On average, Brits consume around 7 portions of fish and chips each per year. Raising that to 9 could give our chippies the boost they need. I've certainly done my bit today. There are some clear differences in the ingredients between US and UK fish and chip dishes. The most notable one, of course, is the fish. Cod is the UK's most popular fish when it comes to a fish and chip supper. There are several species of cod, but the one we typically consume here in the UK is Atlantic cod. Cod has had a rocky journey in recent history. A series of cod wars fought between the UK and Iceland from the 50s to the 70s drove its price up and severely damaged the UK fishing industry. In addition to that, the Northwest Atlantic cod fishing industry completely collapsed at the start of the 90s after years of overfishing. Cod stocks had dropped to 1% of historic levels in the Northwest Atlantic. This led to the Canadian government imposing a complete moratorium on cod fishing in order to save the species.
The moratorium came into place in 1992. It was only supposed to last just 2 years, but stocks didn't recover as expected, so it stayed in place. It wasn't until this summer that the Canadian government announced that it was lifting the cod fishing moratorium after the report changed the fish's status from critical to cautious. Canadian fishing vessels are allowed to bring in 18,000 metric tons of cod in the 2024 season. That's estimated to be just 6% of current cod stocks, so they're taking a fairly cautious approach. Some, including marine biologist Daniel Pauly, are not sure lifting the moratorium was the right call. He says the cod population was recovering in spite of all odds and that it was rebuilding and now it won't be rebuilt. Ecologically speaking, the Alaskan pollock, favored by Long John Silver's, is in a much better spot than the cod. The Marine Conservation Society rates Alaskan pollock as sustainable, and it was also certified as sustainable by the Marine Stewardship Council in 2019.
There's a strong case for fish and chips being the national dish of the UK. In terms of iconic status and widespread popularity, it's right up there with your Sunday roasts and your full English breakfasts. The most recent polling data from YouGov has fish and chips at an 84% popularity rating with Brits.
Fish and chips, I think, is a more popular American cuisine than people realize. It's very popular, obviously, in the East Coast, and I would say parts of the West Coast as well, where there's access to fish more. Even in the Midwest, I mean, people love their fish fries, especially around Lent, and not. People might not think of it when they think of American cuisine. I mean, Long John Silver's is, I didn't even know it was still in business until we had to get the food for this video. Don't sleep on fish and chips. I'd give it the top 15, top 20 cuisines in America. Would I get fish and chips? Almost certainly not.
I don't think I'd put fish and chips in the top 10 of cuisines you'd find in America. I don't even know if saying it's in the top 50 is super fair. We do have our fried seafood here, but I just don't feel like this dish in particular is as popular as it is in the UK. It's not as available, it's not super common. I think you have to look for it.
There was, at one point in the 1970s, a chain called Arthur Treacher's that rivaled McDonald's for the number of restaurants in the United States. Now it's only down to 2 locations, both of which are in Ohio. You also potentially could have gotten fish and chips at a Red Lobster, which recently filed for bankruptcy. I'm picking up on a trend here on fish-centric fast food spots.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly when and where fish and chips became such a British staple. The general consensus is that fried fish really took off in the UK in the early Victorian era. Charles Dickens even mentions fried fish in Oliver Twist, which was written around that time. Some claim that Marlin's in Bow, London was the first place to intentionally pair fish with chips around the year 1860, although it must be said that the Lee family near Manchester also claims this accolade. The number of fish and chip shops in the UK peaked in 1927 with 35,000. Nowadays that number is closer to 10,500 according to research from Seafish. While that number isn't as high as it used to be, that's still more than McDonald's, Subway, Greggs, and Nando's combined. Finally, here are some of my favourite fish and chip facts. Fish and chips are actually most popular in Belfast, where 54% of residents report eating them at least once a month. The UK actually started a National Fish and Chip Day in 2015. This year is being celebrated on June 6th. Fish and chips were traditionally served wrapped in old newspapers. This practice was banned in the 1980s after people realised the ink was leaching onto the food, although you will still see people serving them in fake food-safe newspapers. The largest fish and chip shop in the UK is the Harry Ramsden's location in Bournemouth, which has space for 420 diners. We're comparing French fries from all the biggest fast food chains
To see which are best for taste and value. At a US McDonald's, you can get their iconic fries in 4 sizes. First is the kid size, which only comes in a Happy Meal. Then you have the small, the medium, and the large.
Fries at a UK McDonald's come in 3 sizes. We have a small, medium, and a large.
So what I'm gonna do now is weigh each of these fries and see which one gives us the best bang for our buck. We're gonna go off cost per 100 grams. McDonald's small, 55 grams.
Our small fries weighed 72 grams.
McDonald's medium fries, 109 grams. It's almost double the small.
And the medium fries?
All right, the large, 141 for the large. And the medium was 109? Just out of curiosity. No, too many. And this is the amount of fries that is the difference between a medium and a large. This isn't a lot. This to me is like 4 bites. Just so we know, so I'm curious. This is 33 grams.
And finally, the large. And our large was 135 grams. So in this case, the UK large was actually worse value per 100 grams when compared to the medium. If you get McDonald's fries in the UK that have sat out of the fryer for a few minutes, or if you try and deliver them to your home, for example, by the time you eat them, they're going to be really cold, soggy, and sad. Unlike the US, ours are fried in a mixture of rapeseed and sunflower oil.
We have the added ingredient, natural beef flavor, which also contains milk for some reason, so these are definitely not vegan.
In the UK, the McDonald's fries are vegan because we're not adding any artificial beef flavoring. Here's a clip of me dying while trying that during the fast food chemistry episode. Do not recommend it.
These are fantastic fries. At the US Burger King, you get your fries in 4 sizes. Value or kids, small, medium, and large.
In the UK, Burger King fries come in 3 sizes: small, regular, and large.
Fans of the show probably saw many years ago during our US versus UK Burger King episode, we found that these 2 sizes were essentially the same in weight, but not price. Is that still the case? Or did Burger King see our hard-hitting, award-winning journalism and decide change must happen because we want to do right by our customers? Only one way to find out. I've been waiting 4 years for this.
Now it's time to weigh them.
Ooh, this is gonna be so embarrassing if we catch him again. Catch another Frygate.
I will say these do feel like they're different weights this time around. This one definitely does feel a little bit heavier.
All right, so the value or the kids, whichever one this is, let's leave it in the bag. All right, here we go. The small. Right, I mean, right away. Which one? This is obviously smaller than this one. So you would think like less fries in this one, right?
Here's the small Burger King fry.
102 grams for the small. Wait a second, what was this? This is 102. Get out of here. Already? Hang on. 2 fry difference. So right now the difference between this pile and this pile is this. Burger King. See, this is why I don't eat at Burger King. Because this is ridiculous.
And the regular? These are like clinging to the bag more than any other fries. The regular was 104 grams. I feel like when we did this before, there was almost no difference in the size of the bags, but maybe they have rectified that because there is now a sizable overlap. I like to think we did this.
Okay, the medium. Now we're talking 151 for the medium. Now it's the value and the smaller are the same, and the value is bigger.
And our biggest size, the large. Burger King's the first place where it's been noticeably better value to get more fries.
All right, and the large, the biggest one, the most expensive one. 178? I mean, that's 26 grams? Looks like over in the UK they have more size difference, but our value was bigger than our small. So Burger King changed their fry recipe back in 2011. The newer recipe has less sodium, a thicker texture, and a potato-based coating that's supposed to make it extra crunchy. I do like these fries. Kind of rag on them a little bit, but something about them kind of give me a headache.
I actually feel like Burger King is an underrated fast food fry. I actually quite like the chips from Burger King. They're a thicker cut fry when compared to something like a McDonald's, which means that you get like a softer potato-y chew kind of in the middle. All in all, BK fries, I do think are pretty good.
A while back, KFC discontinued their potato wedges, but you can still get the secret recipe fries. They come in 2 sizes, the individual and the large. Once again, sorry, gravity and moisture, everything's just going into the box. This isn't a KFC commercial, right? This is how it came.
In the UK, they come in 2 sizes, regular and large. Fries are actually the go-to side at KFC. We don't have mashed potato like you guys do in America. KFC fries in the UK have had a couple of reworks in the past few years. They had a reputation as being some of the worst fast food fries, so they've actually taken that into account and tried to make adjustments. They're supposedly now seasoned with the same 11 herbs and spices that the chicken is.
Here we go. All right, the individual fry. This is for an individual. 114 grams. That seems pretty good. I didn't realize this until I started doing this show. Apparently people don't like the KFC fries. They miss the potato wedges. Absolute madness. These fries are really good. And whatever flavor they're putting on here, it's similar flavor-wise to the flavor of their chicken, and I'm here for it.
The regular fries were 134 grams. These paper bags are so hard to get them back into.
All right, the large, the big boy. I do this every time. 233 grams, let's go! You don't gotta tell me, baby, this is a great deal.
And the large. And our large was 187 grams. So actually very similar in terms of price at KFC between the regular fries and the large fries.
Let me say this, as of right now, KFC fries might be my favorite. I came into this shoot thinking, feeling, mind you, that KFC has the best fries. Will minds be changed in this video? Let's find out.
Here are the Popeyes Cajun fries in the UK. When we last did a Popeyes video, a lot of the comments were just surprised that we have Popeyes. I can confirm that we do in fact have it in the UK, and I think they're steadily rolling out across the country. Popeyes UK sells fries in 2 sizes, regular and large.
Popeyes currently has a distinction of being the wettest fries. Ugh. Popeyes. What is the meaning of this? Here's the 2 sizes of their Cajun fries. We got the regular size right here and the large. I do remember liking these fries, but yo, these do not look good.
Regular. And the large.
Wow. 381 grams. That's a lot of fries, right? So they got us the biggest one, Popeyes. All right, 381. These are very good fries. Distinct flavor. They work on their own. Ketchup would be nice, but don't need it. Overall, not bad. Not as good as KFC. Now I'm wondering, am I being swayed by the seasoned fries? Because I like these, and I guess I like them better than McDonald's, but I'll have to think about that. I really do enjoy these. They're tickling my taste buds, if you will.
So with Popeyes, we have another fry with a seasoning blend added to it. This time it's a Cajun flavor. It could actually have gone even harder with the seasoning on this one. Particularly when I hear Cajun, I'm expecting like a bit of heat to it, and I get like no spice from this whatsoever. It's a fry that has a little bit of the skin left on, and in general is kind of on the like narrower side, I would say, the more finely cut side of things, which does lead to a nice crunch. Let's move on to Shake Shack. In the UK, we only have one size of fries, the regular.
The US Shake Shack fries also come in one size for regular orders, but there is a larger order. You can get the crinkle cut box, which is 10 servings of fries. Shake Shack is the first crinkle cut we've seen in the US, so points for that. Looks to be about 148 for the regular. And yeah, Shake Shack fries, they're okay.
These are the first and only crinkle cut fries on the list today. Gotta say, I do like a crinkle cut fry. Just having a little bit of like texture contrast in your bite is really nice. They're not overly oily, nice potato flavor. Again, maybe just a little more seasoning would go a long way here. A little bit more salt on these, I think, would actually help them a lot. On the website for the delivery, you also have the option to do no salt. If this is regular salt, I don't know what no salt would be, because these barely have any salt to them as is. The thing that surprised me most so far is that the value per 100 grams hasn't actually been as good for the large fries at McDonald's and KFC. Typically, when I order a bigger portion of something, I imagine I'm getting better value, but that's not always the case. So far, Shake Shack is the most expensive, but that's kind of to be expected, because they are usually higher on the price scale.
Now let's talk about Wendy's fries. Because of the rise of drive-thru and delivery ordering during the pandemic, they actually changed their fries with a new hot and crispy recipe in 2021. The new fries supposedly stay crispier longer and retain more heat. Of course, I can't prove that, but what I can prove is they come in 4 sizes. We have the junior, which only comes with the kids meal. They got the small, the medium, and the large. First of all, we're gonna go with the junior. 84 grams for the junior. On to the small. 95 for the small. All right, not much of an increase. Onto the medium. 127. All right, that's more of the increase that I like to see. And the large, which is looking kind of sad and sunk in there, but they've been sitting a while. And our large is 167. Okay, not bad.
We had some issues getting our Wendy's fries in the UK. Wendy's UK has 3 portion sizes: small, medium, and large. We ordered a regular and a large fries, but the 2 that have shown up look pretty much identical in size. I don't know if this is regular or large, so this is for now fries number 1. That's 85 grams. And fries number 2. 89 grams. We definitely did order one of them as a large. I think they just thought they could get away with giving us 2 regulars and thought, who's gonna check? I got news for you, buddy. We are.
Of all the fries we've had today, I think Wendy's is the most potato-y, most potato flavored. That makes sense? Which I do like. I know I've liked so far the most the KFC fries and the Cajun fries at Popeyes, but is it because they're like stand out so much and they're so much more like specifically spiced? I feel these are like a good potato taste and fry. Yeah, not bad. All right, Wendy's is winning me over.
One thing I like about the Wendy's fries is that they do leave little bits of skin on at the end. It gives that kind of like rustic feel. It's like a weird criticism of a chip, but not that potato-y. Not my favorite.
All right, Five Guys time. As you are aware, when Five Guys give you their fries, they put in the bag and they dump a whole other thing of fries in there. Part of their generosity, so to speak. The large, that isn't even all the way full. Just grabbing them randomly. I think this is the medium, a little bit more fries in there. And this is the small, yes? All right. And look at this.
Here in the UK, we have Five Guys fries available in 3 sizes. Typically, you see them served in those white paper cups, but today on delivery, they gave us them in bags. Our sizes are little, regular, and large. Although, as is famously the custom at Five Guys, they put extra fries in the bag for you. Along with so much sauce.
Some people think this appears to be a good deal of a lot of extra fries, but I mean, come on, the potatoes are so cheap that they can afford to give you this much. Also, Five Guys is famous for being incredibly expensive. So maybe what they're losing on fries, they more making up for in burger sales. I don't know, believe what you want. All right, I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna divvy up the extra among the three and then just, yeah. $328. So it feels like, right? Because they wouldn't give us all of this if you got a small.
We're going to try and apportion some of these bag fries to their respective bags.
Yeah, UK did a whole British thing where they're doing it like proportionally. No, we're just divvying up even thirds per thing. I mean, even Five Guys doesn't know what they're doing, so we're dividing it evenly because I'm not doing that math. All right, so the small is, the medium is, ugh, what is this gonna look like? Here we go. Oh God, no, it's not gonna. Oh, ah!
Mush it together.
Okay.
Oh, it's like a giant ball. Yeah.
These are the worst ones. These are the messiest ones. I think I really don't like these. Taste are bland and they're so greasy or oily, whatever they're using. So, I mean, I would pay more just not to deal with this mess.
Five Guys notoriously cooks its fries in peanut oil. I do find that a little odd for a fast food chain given that it's one of the most common allergies in the world, but they do say it leads to a better taste and texture. All in all, it's a good fry.
Here are some of the fry options from the US you won't find in the UK.
Here are all the fries from the UK that you won't find in the US.
Here are a bunch of the Shake Shack exclusives you get here in the US in no particular order. They have these barbecue fries, comes with the barbecue sauce. They have these cheese fries, even come with a little stabby guy there for eating them. Already this thing's kind of looking a little rough, sorry. The barbecue cheese fries and the bacon fries. We measured the cardboard a minute ago and found out that it's 20 grams. So we'll go ahead and subtract 20 grams from the weight. And I got the cheese, you guys. And you know, cheese on the side. Don't put it on the fries, because this was happening. Some fries you can't grab. But they're covered in cheese. Other fries don't get any cheese. The cheese distribution, it's all over the place. All right, on to the barbecue cheese ones. You'd think the barbecue and the cheese would work well together, huh? Wouldn't you? Let's find out. Oh man, that's really powerful. It's really powerful with whatever the barbecue dust they're throwing that on. Last but not least, cheese and bacon. I don't know, just putting bacon on top of fries. Too much. Flew too close to the sun with this, guys. Barbecue fries work, cheese fries work, barbecue cheese doesn't work, cheese and bacon.
Shake Shack actually mix up their menu items quite a lot, and one that we currently have are green curry fries. You get a portion of the fries. You also get this green curry mayo dip, some crispy onions, as well as spring onions mixed in there, or scallions for the Americans. Minus the weight of the cups, we'll call that 220 grams. Trying to assemble a bite with everything is proving tricky, but here we go. Green curry fries. Oh yeah, okay. This sauce is serious.
Next up we got, from Wendy's, the exclusive UK, cheese fries. Ooh, oh, these look gross. I don't know what they think they're doing with these. Looks like it's laid a Kraft single on top of these and microwaved them for like 40 seconds. Yuck. It's got some heft to it. Just like $2.35. Yeah, that's not a bad deal. $2.35. What is that? What is that? Where does that rank these guys? Whoa! Look at that! Beating Popeyes in terms of value. I guess I'm happy they're not charging people very much for this. So, because this is, I think, you know what? I think it's the weight of the cheese. That is really funny. But I mean, can I even, we got this like 30 minutes ago, right?
Oh, Joey, don't do it.
Okay.
No, don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
What do I do?
No, don't. Why?
Ugh. Yeah, no. Surprisingly, the best value in the US right now, but I do not like how this tastes at all.
We have one exclusive fry from Wendy's in the UK, and it's this one, the bacon jalapeno fries. Does exactly what it says on the tin. It's an order of fries topped with cheese, bacon, and jalapenos. 235 grams. Here's. Even though this one is a bit cold and sad, it's not too bad. I think the cheese could have benefited from melting a little bit, but the jalapenos are good. Yeah, all in all, not too bad. Moving on to Popeyes, we also have another exclusive here in the UK. All they do is take away some of the Cajun seasoning, and we just have fries. They still have an orange tinge to them, so they're flavored with something, but just not a full hit of that Cajun seasoning. So our large Popeyes fries without the seasoning came to 145 grams. Get back in the bag. I'll give some of these Cajun-less fries a go. All in all, I do think these still hit the spot even without that seasoning. I think paying £1 more for the seasoning is a lot, and I would probably be tempted to just get the plain fries and then dip them in a sauce.
All right, so we talked exclusive menu items in both countries, but what about exclusive chains to this country? Fries are super common item found in all fast food, so I cannot list every single regional chain and also get all of their fries in the US. That would be insanity. We do not have the budget or time for that, mostly the budget. But I did get a few fry orders from chains that are more native or at least exclusive to the United States, and here are two of those. Okay, these US exclusive chains are In-N-Out and Chick-fil-A. First up, In-N-Out. In-N-Out. And this order is 100 grams. Yeah, these fries, they're not great. I do not like them. On to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A large waffle fry. It is 153 grams. The only waffle fry that we'll be reviewing today, also bland. Known for their burgers and known for their chicken sandwiches, not known for the fries, and I can see why.
I wanted to talk about a couple of exclusive chains that are pretty iconic here in the UK. Firstly, we have Nando's. Nando's is still going strong here in the UK. They've got a ton of locations, they keep mixing up their menu, and they are very well known for their peri-peri fries. I stand corrected, I'm going to give Nando's a special shout out here because they're one of the few places to refer to these as chips on the menu. A proper British institution for a reason. Large Nando's. One thing I like about Nando's is that you can add the peri salt at no extra cost. It's a thicker chip compared to a lot of the fast food fries that we've had today. The peri salt is just so good. Honestly, I could pretty much eat that on anything. Here we also have some chips from a Morley's. Morley's is an iconic London restaurant chain of chicken shops. They specialise primarily on fried chicken, but you're often going to pair that with a side of chips. The large chips from Morley's weighs cheap as chips. The humble Morley's fry. I'll also say that with Morley's, you're not really there for the chips. The chicken is the main event. The chips are very much playing second fiddle to that. We can't talk about chips in the UK without talking about fish and chip shops, aka chippies. There are chains when it comes to fish and chips in the UK, thinking of things like Poppy's or Harry Ramsden's, but I think most Brits will just go to their local independent chippy. This cost £5, so I would say based on the prices, that's very much on the bougier side as far as fish and chip shops are concerned, but they do offset that cost by giving you an enormous portion. Chippy chips are also iconic for the shape as well as their texture. Generally speaking, they will get a heavy dousing with salt and or vinegar, and then you can even dip them into things like mushy peas or curry sauce. I just love chip shop chips, as a lot of Brits do. There's just something about them, they're like pretty much unique. They don't look or taste like any other chips that we've had today. They can be like a little bit chewy at times. The middle is like verging on undercooked, but not quite. A lot of the time at fish and chip shops, they will just fry everything in the same oil. Not great for vegetarians, but great for everyone else. Everything they fry ends up kind of sharing that similar flavor. I would say these are pretty representative of the average fish and chip shop chip. Also, when they're cold, you can use them to make chip butties. Chip butty for the uninitiated, chips in a sandwich. Double carbs. The American mind cannot comprehend the chip butty.
Here is the ranking of fries by value. So looking at here, we got Wendy's cheese fries is the best value, followed by the Popeyes Cajun Large, the Burger King value. Yeah, value all right, I'll say. The Five Guys are all over here, good value. Back here you have the KFC, the large one, Shake Shack cheese fries, In-N-Out, the big Wendy's one, the small Wendy's one, another Shake Shack with the barbecue and cheese, and the bacon and cheese. What I noticed down here is a lot of the smaller ones. Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's, and back here, Popeyes ones. Not the best value when you stack up against how much it actually weighs, how much food you're actually getting, which is interesting, because a lot of the small ones are called the value ones, but apparently not. Chick-fil-A's a bit on the pricier side. The barbecue Shake Shack ones. Wait, 3 of the Burger Kings? Ooh, Burger King, bad luck, guys. Overall, I guess I'm surprised that 1, 2, 3, 4 of the ones with cheese are on this side, on the more value side. I'm also surprised that McDonald's large is not the best value. They got McDonald's large and McDonald's medium. McDonald's prices have gone up recently, so maybe that's why. Man, I gotta give the Five Guys fries a second look at value, because they were pretty pricey, I thought, but hey, you're getting a lot for your money, apparently.
Here are all the fries ranked by price per 100 grams from low to high. A lot has changed in these rankings, I'm very surprised. Our best value by weight were the Chip Shop chips at just 80 pence per 100 grams. And our most expensive per 100 grams were the Wendy's large fries, although that might not be exactly accurate given that we think they gave us 2 mediums. There's a general trend where the more expensive and bigger portions are actually giving you better value for money. Conversely to that, there are some surprises with the McDonald's and the KFC fries. At both McDonald's and KFC, the biggest fries aren't actually giving you the most value for your money. The medium is better value than the large per 100 grams at both of those chains. There's also a pretty stark difference in terms of the unseasoned Popeyes fries versus the seasoned Popeyes fries. You're spending a whole extra pound just to get that Cajun seasoning, meaning that the unseasoned fries are much better value per 100 grams. The Burger King small fries being right up here in terms of the value as well is quite funny to me. What are they doing up there?
Of all the fries I've had today, these are my top 6-ish that I feel I've enjoyed the most. Obviously some of these fries were not very good. Don't want to lay into them any more than I already have, but I'm just going to pick the top ones that I think I enjoyed the most. Starting down here at number 6, Burger King. You know, I rag on Burger King a lot, but they do make a pretty good French fry. Surprised by the price point, but just going on taste, they're pretty good fries. Moving up, Shake Shack, the cheese fries. Cheese and French fry together, fantastic. They have a really nice premium cheese to this. I don't know what they're doing, but I really like it, and I like the crinkle cut fries. My only note is I had to get these again, cheese dipping on the side. At number 4, got the classic, the McDonald's. I said this before and I'll say it again. The pros and cons of McDonald's French fries are, they're the industry standard. So much so, the pro is no matter where you go, they're always gonna taste the same, they're always gonna be crispy. I mean, they've been sitting for a while, and they're still got a nice flavor to them. All right. My number 3 spot, gotta go for the Popeyes Cajun fries. Guys, these fries, the flavor. This would be probably higher up in my ranking if they just weren't so soggy and weird. And Wendy's, you know, before I was like, hey, not bad, but as we've moved along this video and I've tried it a few more times, like Wendy's fries, these are actually really good. It's a weird thing to say, but they retain the most potato flavor. I really feel like I'm tasting like handmade fries that maybe I could have made at home, but whatever they changed, they did it right, man, because these are very good fries. I'm gonna say, my favorite fries, still KFC. This thing's beat up. I don't know why people are ragging on these, man. These fries are great. Internet, what's your problem? These are good. Love the flavor, love the texture. Those are my favorite.
It's been a hard decision, but I think I've narrowed it down to my top 5 UK chips. At number 5, I have the Five Guys fries. Frying them in the peanut oil gives them that unique, distinct flavor that I really do like, and they're always generous with the seasoning as well. It's also been interesting to learn that while they are an expensive chip, in terms of the price per 100 grams, they actually rank pretty well. I had to put McDonald's chips in here, so they're coming in at number 4. I stand by everything I said about how they can be really bad when they are bad, but when they're good, boy are they good. Number 3 for me, the humble Chip Shop chip. These are just so iconic, they're so quintessentially British. There's kind of nowhere else that does chips like this, and honestly, I love that about them. They are extremely tasty, they're good hot or cold, they're always seasoned well. It's just quite hard to beat. Bit of a curveball coming in at number 2, but honestly, I thought the green curry fries from Shake Shack were fantastic. Individually, chips aside, this is probably the tastiest thing I've eaten today. I know we're not here to rank sauces, we're here to rank chips, but honestly, the crinkle cut fries as well, they really hold up. So these, combined with the dip, bump it up to number 2. And my number 1, love them or hate them, they do a great chip. It's Nando's. When I was talking about what the quintessential British chip is, I think this might be it. It's a bit thicker, you get that fluffy potato texture in the middle. In this case, you get that peri seasoning on the outside, which has become so iconic to British culture. Ideally, I'd be in the restaurant eating these hot and fresh with a bunch of the Nando's sauces, but you know, even out of a box, even cold a few hours later, still a great chip, and I think my number 1.
We're comparing Auntie Anne's in the US and the UK. Let's start with how much an original pretzel weighs.
Here is an original Auntie Anne's pretzel in the UK. An original pretzel in the UK weighs 138 grams. I saw this German game show online where they had to cut a pretzel into 2 equal halves, and I really want to try it out. I'm pretty sure we have a sharper knife than this somewhere in the studio, but I couldn't find it. So here we go.
I'm going to attempt to perfectly slice my pretzel so that both sides are even weights, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. It's a little wonky already. They're not perfectly symmetrical, so I don't know if I can pull this off. I think I might have gotten it. Hold on.
That's not bad. I was maybe like 1 gram off.
This might be pretty good. I goofed. Next, we've got our cinnamon sugar nuggets. We have small, regular, and the bucket.
In the UK, we just have one size of pretzel nuggets. The website doesn't say how big the portion is or how many nuggets we're supposed to get in there, so we're gonna measure and count them. I don't know how they got them in the cup before. That's way harder to stack than it looked.
That's really not that big a difference in amount of the small and regular. That's a lot of nuggets. Our regular cinnamon sugar nuggets come out to 224 grams. Here we have the classic Auntie Anne's lemonade. It comes in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large.
Drinks from a UK Auntie Anne's come in 2 sizes. We have a regular and a large. The volumes aren't disclosed, so we're gonna pour them out now.
Here goes the small. So the large came out to about 27 ounces, which is pretty low, under 32, I would say. Still, I don't know if I would notice, but you should be getting the amount they advertised, of course. And lastly, for portion sizes, we have my personal favorite thing to get at Auntie Anne's, which is the pretzel dog.
And here is the UK pretzel dog. I've never had one of these before. The existence of them slightly unnerves me, but let's measure it. So in the UK, our glizzy en croûte came to 8 inches in length.
Also, Harry, I'm sending you to jail on 2 counts. 1 is that you don't like these, because that's crazy. And 2, you called it a glizzy en croûte. No, let's not ever say that again, please.
Here is everything from an Auntie Anne's in the UK that you don't have in the US.
Here's everything you'll find at Auntie Anne's in the US that you won't find in the UK. It's not a lot. I'm actually really jealous. Considering that Auntie Anne's was founded in Pennsylvania and it's such a fixture in malls and airports here, I thought we would dominate when it came to exclusives. I thought this is all we have. We only have 1 exclusive pretzel flavor in the US, sweet almond, which sounds really good to me. That's actually pretty nice. It does just taste like sweet almond. I really like the texture that the crushed up almonds on top gives you. It tastes like they candied the almonds before putting them on top of the dough. So it comes out really, really sweet, but not too sweet.
In the UK, we have 3 exclusive items when it comes to a traditional soft pretzel. First up, we have cheddar and jalapeno. Not the biggest jalapeno fan ever. Although Tilly was saying that she's come around on them recently, so maybe I'm overdue giving jalapenos another try. Quite like the flavor of jalapenos. I think it's the texture that I don't really like. I'm not the biggest pepper guy. Bit briny, a little bit spicy, not bad. Next up we have a sesame pretzel, and the pièce de résistance of our exclusive pretzels, the Nutella pull-apart. They didn't scrimp on the Nutella, I'll tell you that much. Just looking at this, and also from the name pull-apart, I think it's maybe meant as more of a sharer thing. You get one of these and you just kind of tear chunks off it. Yes, I'm pronouncing it Nutella, not Nutella. I'm not changing my ways, even if you think I'm wrong. It's pretzel dough covered in Nutella. How can it be bad?
It's so strange to me that we don't have a Nutella flavor of anything, of pretzel, of dip. I just feel like we like it so much here that I would expect it, but you know what? I'm not missing it.
In the UK, we also have the option of pretzel sticks. That sticks with an X, not with a CKS. These come in 3 flavors. We have the classic version, cinnamon sugar, and vanilla. I've tried the cinnamon sugar. I've not tried the vanilla sugar yet. Let's give it a quick spin. It might lack that certain je ne sais quoi of a cinnamon, but still a very good option. In the UK, we also have 2 exclusive versions of the pretzel nuggets. Again, we have the vanilla sugar option, but then we also have a cheese-stuffed pretzel nugget. These are quite exciting. I like these as a concept. It's kind of like, you know when you get a cheese-stuffed crust pizza? It's kind of all the stuffed crust without the actual pizza in the middle. Yeah, they have that satisfying rubbery cheese texture that you get from a supermarket stuffed crust pizza, which personally I quite like. You guys might be missing out over there. We brought some heat with these.
We have a serious lack of cheese and cheese-stuffed items at our Auntie Anne's here in the US. It's very shocking to me, actually, because we're obsessed with cheese. So why don't we have that? Let's get the auntie on the phone. Auntie, we have to talk.
The UK also has 3 exclusive flavors of pretzel dog. Here we have a cheese pretzel dog, cheese and jalapeno pretzel dog, and a cheese and pepperoni pretzel dog. 2 forms of pork. Let's see how this goes. It's not as bad as I thought it might be. Auntie Anne's in the UK doesn't just offer pretzels. On the menu over here, you'll find pizza, breakfast items, and even gelato. Because Auntie Anne's in the UK runs on a franchise model, it's kind of up to the franchisee which of these things they stock. We weren't able to find the pizzas today. What we were able to get today, though, are pizza bakes. From what I can gather, the pizzas are on actual pizza dough, whereas the pizza bakes, they take pretzel dough, stretch it out into a kind of rectangular shape, and then add pizza toppings to it. The 3 that we found today are American Hot, which for the American audience is what Brits call pepperoni and jalapeno, a pepperoni option, and margarita. I'll give the pepperoni one a spin. I'm intrigued to see if pretzel dough is kind of a proper vessel for pizza toppings. Why not? It's a bit on the doughy, bready side, which is to be expected because it's pretzel dough rather than pizza dough. But like functionally, it's still doing all the things that I would like a pizza to do.
Now this is just getting unfair. Not only do we not have pizzas at our Auntie Anne's, but the UK has an American-inspired pizza. I feel like I'm being bullied. I'm being taunted.
Now we're going to talk about some breakfast offerings. Again, the breakfast menu is not something you'll find everywhere in the UK because it is up to the franchisee. If you run an Auntie Anne's that's in a shopping centre, you might not want to stock the breakfast menu, but if you operate one in an airport, you probably would. We got 3 breakfast sandwich options today. Here we have the bacon, egg and cheese. This is the sausage, egg and cheese. Or if you're hungry, you can combine those into a bacon, sausage, egg and cheese. The bun they use for these, you will be shocked to learn, is also pretzel dough. It's not bad. I like the sausage. Some Auntie Anne's locations in the UK will also have a gelato menu. The one that I went to today did have the gelato menu, but I did have to drive like an hour and a half to get it, so I didn't see much point in just bringing back melted ice cream. I definitely don't think it's unusual for Brits to see gelato or at least ice cream in what is effectively a dessert shop.
Now it's time for sauce talk. Even though these are technically dips, I'm not really sure what the difference is.
Sauce talk.
Here in the US, we've got sweet glaze, hot salsa cheese, honey mustard, which we could not get, and the light cream cheese, which we also could not get. I do want to break into both of these. I'm very interested in this hot salsa cheese dip. It says heavenly hot salsa cheese dip. This smells exactly like those little snack packs that came with a side of breadstick crackers that you dipped into a cheese. It smells exactly like this. It kind of looks like it too, except this has some added jalapenos, bell peppers, all that good stuff. Absolutely not. Oh, that's actually really spicy. I wouldn't call that heavenly. Ugh, I don't like that. It's a no. All right, now let's try the sweet glaze. That is so sweet. It's a sweet glaze, for sure. Not for me. It's too much, but it's good.
Auntie Anne's in the UK offers a wide range of sauces and dips for your pretzels. Firstly, we have tomato ketchup.
Surely we don't need to be trying ketchup.
I've got to try them all, Charlie. There might still be people out there who don't know what ketchup tastes like. Yeah, I love that stuff. There's like almost no tomato in there. It's mostly vinegar and sugar. Pretty good. Then we have English mustard. Mustard and pretzels go way better than ketchup and pretzels, so this one makes way more sense in my head. It's that English mustard, so it's got a bit of a kick to it, bit of heat, that works. Sticking with the savory options for the time being, we have another tomato-based dip. I actually think this might just be the kind of like marinara pizza sauce that they use for the pizzas. Yeah, it is. I put this here because I wasn't sure if it was barbecue sauce or chocolate sauce. One sniff has confirmed it's barbecue sauce. Again, I think mustard and to a lesser extent the marinara sauce are much more logical pairings with pretzels compared to like ketchup and barbecue sauce. Got a real tang and smoke to it, which is interesting, but again, just not sure that's what I want with my pretzel. So if that one was barbecue sauce, I'm hoping, and guessing by the texture, that this one might be chocolate. There we go. That's what we wanted. Chocolate sauce, fantastic. Quite gloopy, got like a nice thick texture to it. Good amount of chocolate flavor as well. I like it. Gonna give myself real whiplash here, because straight from chocolate, we're going to what I think is nacho cheese. I do like nacho cheese. Yeah, I mean, it's nacho cheese. It's pretty good. This looks like a caramel, or it also could be a peanut butter, or maybe a Biscoff? Biscoff. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Not the biggest Biscoff fan. However, I don't think I've had the spread version of it before. And that, with the kind of like salty pretzel, actually does go quite well. There's so many dips. This one I'm really not sure on. It looked like a lemon curd at a distance, but then I smelled it and I was getting more like custard from it. So I think maybe this is like a kind of vanilla-y dipping sauce. It's very good though, but I really like that. It tasted a lot like sort of just an ambrosia custard, you know. Next up we have powdered sugar. Yeah, it's definitely powdered sugar, pretty good. And then we have 3 sauces, which I feel like I've seen in like kebab shops in the UK before. It's these Harrison's brand dipping sauces. We have garlic and herb, a honey mustard dressing, and sweet chili.
We don't have as many pretzel options in the US, but we do have some exclusive drinks. We've got frozen lemonade, mango lemonade mixer, watermelon lemonade mixer, frozen watermelon lemonade, and watermelon lemonade frost. Even though all of these drinks are very, very melted and old, I do still want to taste the watermelon lemonade frost just to see what's up with that. Oh, this looks bad. I made it chunky. Oh, I'm making it worse. Here's what this is actually supposed to look like. I'm just gonna take a small sip. It's not that bad. It actually looks way worse than it tastes. It kind of tastes like melted Jolly Ranchers.
Now we're on to the exclusive drinks found at a UK Auntie Anne's. We'll start with the cold drink options. Now, one thing that kind of bamboozled me was Dutch ice. So at Auntie Anne's in the US, they have a thing called Dutch ice. I do not know what a Dutch ice is, but I do know what a slush puppy is. So here is a Dutch ice, as Auntie Anne's would say, or as most Brits would say, a slushie. The one I went to today had the blue raspberry, they had a strawberry, a tropical, a frozen lemonade, and also an apple one. Auntie Anne's in the UK also offers Coke products. So we have a Coke Zero and a Fanta Orange. And then again, because it's a franchise thing, you might have slightly different soft drink options elsewhere. So we have these simply fruity drinks in apple, orange, strawberry, and blackcurrant and apple. In the UK, we love our hot drinks and our espresso-based coffees. Auntie Anne's in the UK has capitalized on that and has a bunch of hot drinks available. Of course, we just have an English breakfast tea, but you can also get a hot chocolate, an Americano, a cappuccino, as well as a flat white and an espresso. Then we're on to the milkshakes, which we have a lot of in the UK. I just got 3 of the more interesting ones today because I didn't want to carry about 20 milkshakes home in the car. Not only do we have Nutella on the menu as a pull-apart, but we also have a Nutella milkshake. This one really intrigued me / terrified me. This is a bubblegum milkshake. Oh man. It tastes like bubblegum. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I taste something that's bubblegum flavored, I have a real like instinctive feeling that I shouldn't be swallowing it. I think just from years of chewing bubblegum and being told, do not swallow this. So even now, edible bubblegum flavored products, my brain is just like, no, 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 do not eat, do not eat. And then I was also able to get a banoffee milkshake. Banoffee is one of those things that I always assume is universal, but I think actually it doesn't really exist that much outside of the UK. For the uninitiated, banoffee combines banana and toffee. Banoffee pie is the most common like delivery vehicle, I would say, for this one. But turns out the milkshake, pretty tasty.
The only reason I'm not so upset that the UK has way more food options than we do at our Auntie Anne's is because usually where you'll find an Auntie Anne's, like a mall, you'll find a bunch of other food options. So if I wanted to get gelato with my Auntie Anne's, I could. If I wanted to get a pizza with my Auntie Anne's, I could, just not at the same stall. So there's that. Auntie Anne's doesn't list their ingredients on their website, but we've pulled them from their DIY at-home pretzel kit. The dough mix contains wheat flour, sugar, yeast, dextrose, salt, sodium bicarbonate, cornstarch, molasses, sodium aluminum sulfate, and acid phosphate of calcium. Sodium aluminum sulfate is a slow-acting leavening acid. It helps the pretzels rise. That one sounds so much scarier than it actually is.
According to its box in the UK, the DIY dough mix contains yeast, wheat flour, calcium carbonate, iron, niacin, thiamine, baking soda, sugar, malt extract, salt, and cane molasses. However, Auntie Anne's did confirm to me via email that the ingredients are the same globally, so there might just be some differences in how local markets require ingredients to be written out on boxes.
The dough Auntie Anne's uses is actually made on site by the employees. It's not shipped to stores frozen like I assumed. Stores receive a signature flour mixture, and that gets mixed with yeast and water. Once the dough rises, it gets turned into fresh pretzels. A former Auntie Anne's employee claims that freshly baked items get replaced every 30 minutes to ensure freshness. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Instead of using baking soda in the actual dough, apparently Auntie Anne's uses a mixture of baking soda and water to brush their pretzels before baking. This supposedly helps to give the pretzels that nice crust. After baking, they're also topped with butter to give them that nice shine. Auntie Anne's claims that it has a secret ingredient for its pretzels, which is still kept tightly under wraps. Anne Byler, the founder of Auntie Anne's, has said that the secret ingredient was a makeshift substitute used by her husband when he got the wrong ingredients for making pretzels. But apparently it turned out pretty well. Some people allege that the secret ingredient is just sugar, but that doesn't seem like something you'd really have to try that hard to keep under wraps.
We weren't able to find the ingredients for the plain pretzel, but we did for the pepperoni pretzel. Here, a pepperoni pretzel contains 480 calories, 17 grams total fat, 760 milligrams of sodium, and 66 grams total carbs.
A pepperoni and cheese pretzel in the UK contains 458 calories, 15.6 grams of fat, 1,800 milligrams of sodium, and 63.5 grams of carbs.
Our pretzel dog contains 350 calories, 20 grams of total fat, 800 milligrams of sodium, and 33 grams of total carbs.
And our pretzel dog contains 449 calories, 30.4 grams of fat, 1,800 milligrams of sodium, and 26.8 total carbs.
Next, we have a medium lemonade. It contains 250 calories, 0 grams total fat, 20 milligrams of sodium, and 64 grams total carbs.
A regular lemonade in the UK contains 122 calories, 0 grams of fat, 40 milligrams of sodium, 31.1 grams of carbs, of which 29.2 grams are sugars. An original pretzel from an Auntie Anne's in the UK will cost you £4.80.
And our original pretzel costs $6.99. That feels astronomical to me for a soft pretzel.
A portion of pretzel nuggets in the UK costs £5.70.
A regular cup of pretzel nuggets will cost you $9.99 in the US.
Earlier we counted that you get 10 nuggets in a portion, meaning that on average it's 57p per pretzel nugget.
That comes out to about 47 cents per nugget.
If you wanted to get a pretzel, a dip, and a lemonade in the UK, it would come to a total of £8.70. Although it's worth mentioning that in the store I went to, they had a combo deal, which gave you these exact 3 items for £6.80.
And in the US, a pretzel with a dip and a medium lemonade comes out to $13.46. Seems a bit steep for a pretzel and a drink, considering you can get a Big Mac meal for $10.19.
Auntie Anne is actually a real person. Anne Byler created Auntie Anne's after a pretty tumultuous period in her life. Using money that she borrowed from her husband Jonas's parents, the two of them set up Auntie Anne's. The original location was a concession stand in Downingtown, Pennsylvania farmers market all the way back in 1988. Apparently for them, it was their way of providing for the community.
Auntie Anne's would eventually become an international franchise with over 2,000 stores in over 30 countries. The UK and Ireland specifically have 38 locations.
I wouldn't say Auntie Anne's is a household name in the UK, but it is something that I would say most Brits probably have a vague or maybe even subconscious awareness of. This is because many of their locations are located in big shopping centres or shopping malls here in the UK. At some point or another, it's pretty likely that a Brit will have walked past an Auntie Anne's and smelled the pretzels being made. I think my first introduction to Auntie Anne's was on one of these shopping centre visits where they were handing out free samples. I remember eating a nice warm bite of cinnamon sugar pretzel and being pretty impressed. Although I think I'd probably looked at the menu and thought, that's a bit pricey for me, seeing as that I'm 12 and I have no pocket money left. Auntie Anne's does seem to be making an effort to expand its UK presence. In a recent LinkedIn post, they said that they are pursuing an ambitious growth strategy over the next 10 years with plans to open 100 new stores across the UK and Ireland. This includes a new international store design in the UK featuring a fresh, vibrant look. Even if they're not a household name yet in the UK, in 10 years' time, they might be.
We have Auntie Anne's in all 50 states. There are 1,347 locations in the US alone. I cannot believe we have so many Auntie Anne's and yet so little menu items. It's so much smaller than the UK's, it's crazy. I think most of us in the US would associate Auntie Anne's with malls. I was always at the mall as a kid and I can still remember the smell of Auntie Anne's pretzels just wafting through the air. Hello, we're filming from my home because in the middle of making this video, Auntie Anne's decided to release this, a pretzel-scented perfume. And of course we have to try it. I also got some Auntie Anne's pretzels so that we can do a little smell comparison, see if it's just like the real thing. Auntie Anne's releasing this makes a lot of sense to me, honestly, not just as like a funny little marketing ploy and getting people to talk about them, but also because they are so known for the smell of their stores. Like when you walk into the mall, that's the first thing you smell. So
This is kind of funny, but also, yeah, I want to smell like an Auntie Anne's pretzel. You know what I mean? Not only do I love the name Need, that is so funny to me, I also love that they matched the packaging on the perfume from their packaging in stores. Like, this is so cute. This is so dumb, but it's also very necessary for me, personally. Ooh. Whoa. Okay. Yes. I totally smell Auntie Anne's pretzel. It's not in the authentic way you'd get the scent, like when it just kind of wafts up to you softly in the mall and just carries you towards it. It's more in your face and intense. Obviously, it's a perfume. Okay, let's do the sniff comparison. I have the perfume on my wrist, and I have a pretzel in my left hand, straight from the source. I definitely would say that the perfume smells like perfume and this smells like food. Shocker. But it just does come off as a more natural, soft, food-like smell off the pretzel, and the perfume is just more in your face. This is the scent of butter and sugar and sweetness. It's a lot in comparison. It's not the same, but I can appreciate it for what it is. Okay. Go back to the video. Bye!
I think that pretzels are just a good walking food, so it makes sense that they're so popular in places like malls and airports. But why are Auntie Anne's stores pretty much only found in malls? It all comes down to foot traffic, which malls tend to have a lot of, or at least they used to. There's been a decline in mall visitors since the 80s and the 90s when malls are at their most popular. The pandemic also really affected mall traffic, but it's slowly been rising back to pre-pandemic levels. The uncertainty when it comes to the longevity of malls is probably why Auntie Anne's has been experimenting with standalone drive-through stores. Speaking of malls, let's check in with Joe, who is currently at the mall with some Auntie Anne's. Joe, is Auntie Anne's the perfect mall snack?
Just got a pretzel right away. I think the bag, a bit of a misstep. I think just handing me the pretzel would have been better. I don't want to carry this bag around. Bag goes in garbage. Now we're talking. I'm currently walking around a mall with a pretzel, I have to say. Pretty ideal mall food. Makes it easier to hold. Nice thing to have in your hand when you're checking out what's going on in a wash. It is a little salty because it's a pretzel. If I wasn't filming myself right now, I would also have a drink, but gotta hold the camera. So, but as far as a pretzel walking around a mall, I think it's pretty ideal.
Thank you, Joe. We can always count on you to get to the truth of a story. It's not the only pretzel franchise we have here. There's also Wetzel's Pretzels, which is equally good in my opinion. When I was little, I used to love watching the Auntie Anne's workers actually make the pretzels in front of you. They do this really mesmerizing fast movement to create the pretzel twist. Supposedly, the fastest Auntie Anne's pretzel roller can roll and twist a pretzel in 3.5 seconds. We're comparing two of the most popular bubble tea chains in the US and the UK. First, let's break down what bubble tea actually is. Bubble tea is a super popular tea drink that originated in Taiwan in the 1980s.
There are many kinds of bubble tea, but generally speaking it consists of a tea as well as some tapioca pearls, also known as boba. Now let's get into the portions.
At Kung Fu Tea, you can get drinks in two sizes, medium and large.
Bubbleology offers drinks in 3 sizes: regular, large, and supreme.
I'm not seeing exact amounts for the drink sizes, so let's just see how much liquid is in each size. Let's start with the medium. It smells so good. This is good soup.
Our regular looks like just under 400 milliliters. Next up is the large.
The large comes out to about 550 milliliters.
And finally, the supreme. And our supreme was around 700 milliliters, maybe slightly less.
They've got us beat in the UK, but you guys do like your tea, so that makes sense. Here we have a large taro milk tea. I'm gonna drain this and see how many tapioca pearls that we get.
We're gonna do that with our large Bubbleology taro milk tea as well. So our large boba tea in the UK had 141 tapioca pearls. Oh my God, that works so well. I actually don't think I've ever had a taro flavored thing before.
It's definitely really earthy tasting and a subtle sweetness, which I really like. Also, I would say even like this much slightly floral leaning. It's not just like sweet, it's something of the earth. Very florally tasting to me.
Got sweetness to it, but not too sweet. A little bit earthiness to it as well. Yeah, I like that. It's good. Both Kung Fu Tea and Bubblology are popular boba tea chains in their respective countries. Bubblology does exist in the US, but it's not as popular there as it is in the UK. Even though Kung Fu Tea and Bubblology are different chains, there are several drinks that appear on both menus.
Let's start with the milk teas. We've already talked about the taro milk tea, but we've also got coconut, strawberry. I'm gonna take a taste of it. Strawberry milk tea sounds right up my alley. I was one of those Nesquik kids. I was obsessed with that strawberry bright red syrup that you would add to milk. Ugh, this looks just like it. It's making me feel really nostalgic. This is really helping me with my anger. It has such a similar vibe to the Nesquik. Much more fresh and delicious though. Then we have the rosehip milk tea and honeydew milk tea. I am not a big melon person. I don't think I like really any melon very much, so this is a risk for me. I should not have drank that. I don't really know how to explain this one. The flavor is so intense. This tastes like you just bit into a honeydew melon. It's very bizarre. The smell is also very strong. I don't know how they got this flavor into a drink, but it's pretty cool, even though I don't really like it.
Here are our similar milk tea options. We also have a coconut. Not much coconut flavor in all honesty. That's a pretty mild coconut. We have a strawberry milk tea. I'm not very good at this. Ooh. Yeah, the difference in like strength of flavor in those two is leaps and bounds. Very strong strawberry flavor. Here we have a rose milk tea. You gotta be really, I'm not aggressive enough with my stabbings. There you go. You really do get the rose flavor. It's like when you have the rose Turkish delight. It's kind of the only other rose flavored thing that I commonly eat. And even that's not that common. I'm not in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Who likes Turkish delight that much? No one. He's the only person to ever like Turkish delight that much. Here we have our honeydew milk tea. Interesting. Honestly, not a big fan of honeydew melon as a fruit, but don't mind the flavor in drink form, apparently. That's pretty good.
I have something called an Oreo Wow. Wow refers to the tapioca balls, which are caramelized with brown sugar. That sounds amazing. I love anything Oreo, cookies and cream flavored, so let's break into it. It literally tastes like when you leave your Oreos in milk too long and it just breaks apart. I think that's literally what it is. That's good. That's so delicious.
We also have an Oreo drink on our menu, the Oreo Crush. I don't really know what they've done to this one. When I heard the name, I imagined crushed up Oreo in there, but I can't really see it. So let's get a taste. Definitely do get an Oreo flavor from it. Could be a little bit stronger. And also maybe put some like pieces of Oreo in there. I think if you drank that quickly enough, they wouldn't go super soggy. It might work, but you might end up with just kind of like slush at the end.
These shops don't only sell milk teas, they've also got fruit teas. At Kung Fu Tea, they have these punch drinks that are fruit teas mixed with lemonade. That is way more up my alley, I think, than regular milk teas. Here we have passion fruit green tea. I love anything passion fruit, so I definitely want to taste. That is so delicious and refreshing. I could get into this. Why am I not drinking more tea? Next, we have mango green tea, apple green tea, peach green tea, apple black tea. Let's see. That is so good. I was not expecting to like that at all. That is really delicious. Next we have the apple oolong tea. I don't think I know what oolong tastes like, so I want to compare it to the apple black tea. I like the oolong tea less because it tastes more like traditional tea. It's very like leafy, greeny. I don't know, all of those words are coming to mind. This one has a much more subtle tea flavor. Then there's the peach oolong tea and the lychee punch. Some of these also have chunks of fruit at the bottom. I assume it's the fruit that we're drinking, but I'm unsure. It doesn't look very recognizable to me. For something named punch, I was expecting like a stronger, more intense flavor, but it's actually really subtle. I don't know if I like this one as much just because I want it to be more in your face.
Bubblology offers similar fruit flavors. We'll start with the mango fruit tea. I love mango flavored things. Sometimes they are too sweet, but this one, actually they've got the balance pretty good. I'm a fan. Here we have a white peach tea. Ooh, that's good. That might be the best one I've tried yet. It's like a gentle flavor, like a peach iced tea, but a really subtle, delicate one. Then we have passion fruit. They are making a lot of these fresh in store at Bubbleology, so I think the amount of syrup that you get can vary depending on the place you go to or just who's making your drink. Feels like with the passion fruit, it's heavier on the syrup, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It's reminding me of like the passion fruit J2Os that I would drink when I was a child. I miss J2Os. Next up, we have our lychee. Again, I don't think lychee is a thing that I've had like a ton of as a flavor before, but it's just quite like gently fruity. Our last fruit flavor is the apple tea. It's appley, but in that kind of like fake candy way. I don't hate it, but it's also not my favorite way of consuming apple.
If I had to guess, I think in America, people probably order taro milk teas, brown sugar milk teas, and maybe even the matcha milk teas the most. It just seems like they might have already seen these flavors other places, so it's like really easy to taste test those. They seem like really popular flavors here in America, so those are my picks.
We definitely love our bubble tea here in the UK, and that's becoming more the case every day. In terms of the most popular flavors in the UK, I think I've picked out a few of them here. We do just love our standard milk tea here in the UK, although that can mean different things depending on where you get your tea. At Bubbleology, they don't have just one milk tea option. You can either get jasmine or Assam tea. Jasmine is a much milder taste, Assam is much stronger. We also love our tiger milk over here, or brown sugar tea. That's this one here, where you get your brown sugar syrup, which has that nice caramel flavor, along with the milk tea, and then you can mix it all up once it's in the cup. And of course, taro tea is another one that's really popular here in the UK.
Let's get into some exclusive items from both boba chains. We have a bunch of milk tea flavors at Kung Fu Tea. There's their regular KF milk tea, the Thai milk tea, the taro milk green tea, the winter melon coconut milk tea, the malted black milk tea. I am a big fan of malted milkshakes, so I feel like I would really like this one. I don't know if the malt flavor is translating super well with just plain tea. And then we have the coffee milk tea. I'm a coffee lover. I feel like if I was going to get a bubble tea, coffee would be the way to go for me. Yeah, that is so good. It tastes different. Obviously, it's not just straight up coffee, but I expected it to taste mostly like coffee because it's such a strong flavor, but you can definitely feel the tea flavors in there.
Here are the UK exclusive milk tea flavors. Firstly, we have a matcha milk tea. Yeah, it's actually not that bad. This one is quite a gentle flavor. Obviously, I think the amount of milk in there is diluting the matcha quite a lot. Next up is an Assam milk tea. Assam is one type of tea leaf. It's actually fairly common in the UK in the sense that it's part of the blend that makes up English breakfast tea. Usually they add things like Ceylon and maybe Kenyan tea in there as well. I don't know if I've really had just Assam straight on its own before, so let's get stuck in. It is kind of like just having the milkiest cup of breakfast tea that I've ever had. When she described this as the strong flavor compared to jasmine, I was expecting much stronger tea flavor actually. Still quite gentle, obviously very milky, very diluted, but still quite refreshing. Next up is a chocolate milk tea. Somewhere between chocolate milkshake and a really bad cold hot chocolate. I had high hopes for this one. I thought this would be a nice decadent chocolate milk, but no, unfortunately not for me. Another one I'm surprised to see on the exclusive list is a vanilla tea. Still not a very strong flavor, but in a less offensive way than the chocolate was. I think a gentle vanilla taste is something that you can get away with in a way that you can't do that with chocolate. This almost reminds me of like a mini milk ice cream, and I mean that in like a kind, nostalgic way, you know. I used to love a mini milk, they're great. And then finally we have a jasmine tea. Like I say, this one was advertised as a stronger tea taste, and that wasn't very strong. And they have been true to their word in that this is weaker, but almost to the point of just having zero flavor whatsoever. This is kind of just like having a big cup of milk with some ice cubes in it. Admittedly, I like my tea quite strong. I do think if you want a kind of milk tea from one of these places, I think if you're a Brit and you can handle your breakfast tea, just go for Assam. I think this is going to be too weak for you.
Moving on to the milk strike drinks. These all contain lactate milk, which is just lactose-free milk, and they also have those wow bubbles, which are the tapioca pearls caramelized with brown sugar. We've got the red bean wow. This one has red bean paste, I believe, in it. Let's taste it. It is thick. I can barely mix. For me, this one is a texture thing that's not really working for me. The beans do taste good. I like how they're very subtly sweet. It's not too much, but The texture with the tapioca pearls is just not it for me. It's a little weird. Next, we have the chai milk, the herbal jelly wow. I don't know what that means, which means that we should taste it. That's pretty cool. It has a very subtle flavor to the point where I can't even tell what it's supposed to taste like. It's very, very soft, but that jelly texture is kind of amazing. Great mouthfeel with the jelly texture. I really like that. The flavor though, I can't tell what it is. And lastly, we have the ginger milk.
Bubbleology has a specials menu that has quite a few interesting exclusive flavors. The first one is the aforementioned tiger tea or brown sugar milk. Let's see if I can get any more of that syrup at the bottom to dissolve. I can see why this is one of the most popular ones in the UK. It's got a real like caramel sweetness to it, but it's good. This one is a peach berry tea. This one actually comes by default with some popping boba in there as well. This is pretty good. I like it. I like the peach tea in its regular form. I'm trying to figure out which berry they've added to this to give it that red color, because the peach one on its own was quite white. I think it's the raspberry, so it's kind of like a peach-raspberry combination. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the flavor inside of the popping boba is also strawberry, so you're kind of getting like a double berry effect with your peach, which honestly is quite nice, really refreshing. Next up, we have a Biscoff Bliss tea. I've been over this before on Food Wars. I'm not the biggest fan of Biscoff as a flavor, so for me it's not the most blissful beverage, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. You get the flavor of Biscoff, for sure. Earlier on with the Oreo one, I said maybe they could have crushed up Oreos and put them in there and it would have been nice. They've done that with this and it sucks. It's really bad. It's a Biscoff flavored tea that has like a lot of mushy lumps in it, which, yeah, not the one. This is a fun one. This is the banoffee pie tea. For those who don't know what banoffee pie is, it's a banana and toffee flavored pie. I personally love a banoffee pie as a dessert. It's one of the best desserts in my opinion. It's very banana-y. I'm not getting a lot of the toffee from that, but I think if you're advertising it as banoffee pie, it needs to have a bit more zhuzh than that, you know. Next up, we have the Nojito. So the name Nojito is the reference to the fact that it's kind of like a non-alcoholic mojito cocktail. So it's kind of like a lime and mint flavored bubble tea. I'm gonna say, visually, this does not look the most appealing. It kind of looks like a pond in a cup. I mean, it is quite tasty. I'm not really getting any lime from this, which I do think is a core component of a mojito. The pearls in this one are actually some of the popping pearls, and I think they have like a blueberry flavor to them. Next up, we have a vanilla chai. Not getting much vanilla. It's like got most of the key components of a chai, but they're all just dialed down to like 1 on the volume notch. Just crank that up a little bit, guys. And then finally, we have a Bobatella. I am not an expert, but I'm gonna guess that this is a Nutella version of a boba tea. This is what I wanted the chocolate milk to taste like, and the chocolate milk tasted nothing like this. This one actually has more of like a homogeneous flavor to it in a way that like, the chocolate actually feels like it's kind of bonded to the milk more. Pretty good, I like that.
Next, we have the milk cap drinks. So they all have this foamy layer of milk on top. They describe the milk cap as subtly salty. That gives me pause, but I'm keeping an open mind. We've got the matcha milk cap, the winter melon tea cap, sunshine pineapple tea cap. This one looks like it actually separated a bit. I wonder if it's because it's just, I think, fruit tea, so it broke down a little easier than the ones with milk in the drink. I'm nervous, but like sweet and salty goes together. It's not terrible. I'm just surprised that they describe the milk cap as subtly salty because it's salty. Like it's front and center. It's definitely strange, but it's really working for me. And lastly, we have the oolong tea wow milk cap. Here we have the classic tea flavors. We've got the KF green tea, the KF black tea, and the KF oolong tea.
Here are the Bubbleology fruit teas. We'll start with the strawberry tea. That's pretty good. It's not like the most natural tasting thing I've ever had. Next up we have raspberry. It's not bad, I'm just like not getting a lot of raspberry from this, to the point where I'm like, maybe we've slightly mislabeled these and this might be raspberry. I'm gonna jump ahead a tea real quick. This one we thought was pomegranate. Let's find out. That's still kind of inconclusive. We think this is raspberry and this is pomegranate. Honestly, it could be the other way around because I'm not getting much flavor from either of those. And then this one is passion fruit and cucumber. I'm getting the passion fruit. I'm not really getting much cucumber Although honestly, I'm not mad about that because when I heard that there was cucumber in it, I was a bit like, why would they put cucumber in it? Passion fruit is already tasty. And they haven't overdone the cucumber, which for me is a good thing.
Kung Fu Tea also has these punches, which are teas mixed with lemonade. So we've got the strawberry lemonade, the guava punch. This one has a ton of chia seeds floating around in it. I don't know why, but I do want to taste it because I love guava. I love the taste of the tea. Hate all of the chia seeds. I feel like there's just too many. It's just like a mouthful of slimy chia seeds, but that tea tastes really delicious and fresh. Then we have the lychee black tea, the tropical punch. This one has mango popping boba in it, which I really want to try. It's the kind of boba that has like a little bit of juice in it when you bite into it. That's really good, really refreshing. Ah! There's the puddle of juice. These are good, although it has the texture of a contact, which is off-putting. And then we have the rose hip lemonade.
Bubbleology in the UK has a bubble fizz range, which is carbonated tea. We only got one today, which was the tropical mango and passion. I like the sound of this one. I like fizzy drinks, I like tea. It's checking a lot of boxes on paper. It's advertised as tropical mango and passion fruit, but the main flavor that I'm getting from this is mango. It's reminding me a lot of a mango Rubicon, which is one of the best fizzy drinks, so they're doing that well. This one also by default comes with some more of the popping pearls.
Kung Fu Tea also makes these drinks called slushes, which are their teas blended with ice. So we've got the Cocoa Lava Slush, the Taro Slush, the Caribbean Breeze Slush. This one seems right up my alley. I would order this every day. It's so good. Nothing that I've tasted today, even if it might be, tastes too artificial. Like this just tastes like fresh squeezed fruit juice and ice blended together. This is my favorite thing I've tried today. And we also have the passion fruit slush.
We have one exclusive coffee option from Bubbleology in the UK, and it's this one, the caramel frappe. That's not too bad. It's more on maybe like the caramel iced latte side of things rather than a frappe, which in my mind is like creamier or maybe has whipped cream on it. I'm more just worried about the effect the caffeine is going to have on me after the amount of sugar that I've already consumed today.
And here we have some coffee options from Kung Fu Tea. We have a latte that's iced and a hot coffee. One thing I'm realizing tasting all these drinks is that these boba shops are doing more than just bubble tea, and I don't think I realized because you can get coffee there, juices there, not just teas. You can get lemonades, you can get slushes. All of these options are really pleasing to me, and I can definitely see myself going to boba shops more to try out other things. Kung Fu Tea also has canned teas that they sell in their stores. Here we have the green tea peach, which is so cute because it has Princess Peach on it. Next we have the Thai milk tea, and we also have brown sugar milk tea. I am interested to see if there's any major difference in flavor when it comes to the canned teas versus the teas made in-house. So I have a Thai milk tea here, and I want to compare it to the canned Thai milk tea. The canned Thai milk tea is sweeter than the one made in store for sure. That is so strange. It's also a completely different color. I don't know if you can see. It's like a bright orange brown color compared to the one made in store. This color I think is more consistent with what Thai tea looks like in real life, so it's interesting that the one in store is so much lighter, but they're both good. This one is just a lot sweeter and has no toppings.
There are also some differences when it comes to the types of milk you can get on offer at both chains. In the UK, Bubbleology offers you a choice between an original creamer, organic soya milk, organic oat milk, and organic whole milk.
And Kung Fu Tea offers Lactaid and milk powder. They've been experimenting with alternative milks, but only at select locations so far.
When it comes to toppings for your tea in the UK, we have a few options. At Bubbleology, you can either choose to get extra tapioca pearls, you can get flavoured jelly, or you can get popping boba. Speaking of popping boba, you can also buy it by the jar. They have 6 flavours on option. We have a blueberry, we have strawberry, we have lychee, we have mango, passion fruit, and apple. Let's try some of the strawberry. You get the strawberry flavour. Something about it being in the jar. It definitely has a bit more like sliminess to it when compared to just being in a drink, which isn't super pleasant. If I can be completely real for a second, I'm not a big fan of popping boba. I have the same issue with fish roe and anything else that bursts in your mouth. We probably can't get the rights to show you the clip, but there's that scene from Lord of the Rings: Return of the King where Faramir is charging out to his death and Denethor is sat at his banquet hall eating cherry tomatoes, and he bites into one and it explodes and it's gross. And I had such a visceral reaction to that as a child that I genuinely think it has put me off anything with this texture for life.
So let's go through all of the topping options you can get at Kung Fu Tea. There are a lot of them. We have
strawberry popping boba, brown sugar wow boba, plain boba, chia seeds, pudding, crystal boba. I don't know what that is, but I wish I tried it today. Herbal jelly, aloe jelly plus lychee crystal boba, berry crystal boba, milk cap, boba plus pudding, red bean, mango jelly plus nata jelly, brown sugar boba plus milk cap, espresso shot, grape, strawberry, and mango popping boba, Oreo, mango popping boba, aloe jelly, nata jelly, and mango jelly.
I don't think I knew what half of those were. At a lot of boba shops, you're allowed to customize your sweetness levels. So at Kung Fu Tea, 100% sugar level is their base level sweetness. That's what all the drinks come in normally, unless you ask for more or less. So if you want no sweetness, that's 0%. A little sweetness is 30%. Half sweetness is 50%. Less sweetness is 70%. Extra sweetness is 120%, and the regular base sweetness is 100%.
For this video, we were asked to pick our own custom bubble tea order. Honestly, when I looked at the menu, the one that jumped out to me as something that I would actually order was this one. It was the Bubble Fizz Mango Passion. As I said before, it's primarily a mango tea, but it's carbonated, and then it has some of these passion fruit pearls in there as well. I think in terms of the tea itself, the mango one was probably one of my favorite flavors. I think the other contenders maybe could have been that white peach that I really liked. Despite my fairly strong feelings on popping boba, I don't hate them that much, and I think when they're part of what is otherwise a very delicious, refreshing beverage, I'll let it slide.
So here is my custom bubble tea order. I went more the coffee route. Now that I'm older, I'm not that much into the taro milk tea like I used to be. I wanted something that was close to the stuff I drink every day, so coffee definitely had to be a part of it. This is an espresso Thai tea with a milk cap and some brown sugar boba. I forgot that the milk cap was a little bit salty when I ordered this, so I don't really know how all of this is gonna come together, but I have faith in my decision. I feel like this is gonna be good. I think that is really, really good. The salty milk cap with a creamy milk tea like this and the coffee flavor, it just all goes really well together. I like this. I think I did a good job. I would order that again. Let's compare the nutritional values of the items that are most similar. Bubble tea is generally known to have a pretty high sugar content, so I'm interested to see if there are any major differences between the chains.
Bubble tea is obviously super customizable, so Bubbleology has come up with this periodic table thing to try and help you calculate the nutritional value of your drink. I don't know exactly how accurate it is, but it's all we have to go off. According to the calculator, a large taro milk tea in the UK with whole milk and tapioca pearls comes to around 321 calories.
A large taro milk tea from Kung Fu Tea can be anywhere from 290 to 500 calories. According to their nutritional information, tapioca pearls alone can range anywhere from 199 to 299 calories and are full of sugar. Let's compare the price of a large drink at both chains. At Kung Fu Tea, a large taro milk tea will cost you $6.39 or £4.88.
And at Bubbleology, a large taro milk tea will cost you £4.59 or $6.05. For me, it's definitely more on the expensive side as far as beverages go, but I guess in some ways you are getting kind of a snack and a drink in one.
Also, living in a large city like New York, everything is just expensive.
Bubble tea originated in Taiwan almost 40 years ago. Two tea houses, Chun Shui Tang in Taichung and Hanlin Tea Room in Tainan, both claim to have invented it.
Angela Liu, the daughter of Liu Hanche, who founded Chun Shui Tang, says her father was playing around with different toppings for iced tea when one of his staff suggested adding tapioca balls.
But the founder of Hanlin Tea Room says he got the idea from a local market's dessert stalls. The two tea houses were involved in a lawsuit over who invented it that lasted over 10 years. Ultimately, the court decided it didn't matter, as bubble tea can't be patented anyway.
Bubble tea first gained popularity in the US in the 1990s. It was super popular in Taiwanese American communities on the West Coast and eventually became a full-blown craze all over America.
The UK obviously has an enormous love for tea, so it's no surprise to see that bubble tea has really taken off here in the past few years. In fact, the bubble tea market in the UK is expected to grow 225% in the 10 years leading up to 2032. Internet searches for bubble tea are much higher in cities with universities, which goes to show how much it's really taken off with Gen Z. Bubbleology is more of a westernized chain. It started in 2011 in Soho and at the time was the UK's first standalone bubble tea spot. Today it has 69 stores in the UK, but also has other locations in Europe, the Middle East and the US. It has a sort of science theme to the menu and puts a lot of emphasis on the customization options. You can customize your sweetness levels, you can get light versions of the drinks, and you can mix and match flavors to create something completely new. The creator of Bubbleology, Asad Khan, has said that they do cater more to the UK market. In general terms, apparently Brits favor the popping boba and jelly over the tapioca pearls.
Kung Fu Tea was founded in Queens, New York back in 2010 and has since become one of the most popular boba chains in America. They even founded National Bubble Tea Day, which is on April 30th. Today, there are over 350 locations all around the US. Bubble tea is extremely popular here in the US. Even chains like Starbucks have tried to capitalize on its popularity. I think Dunkin' has too. In 2023, there were over 3,000 bubble tea shops in the US, and that number is just growing.
While it is much more commonly available now in the UK, I think for me bubble tea is still like a once-in-a-while treat rather than an everyday drink. That's partly due to the price. It is slightly more on the expensive side for a beverage, and also just the amount of sugar in there as well. I don't think that's something I would necessarily want to consume every day.
I was much older when I tried bubble tea for the first time with the tapioca pearls, and I did find the whole situation a little jarring. I don't think I had ever had a drink that was also something I had to chew at the same time, but I really, really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of those things that I can't have too much of. It can be extremely sweet, but it is a fun experience. Let's explore pumpkin spice items in the US and the UK. Before the pumpkin spice latte was even a thing, pumpkin spice was just a spice blend most commonly used for making pumpkin pies. It doesn't contain any pumpkin, so what's in it?
If I had to take a few guesses in there, I would definitely say there's some ginger.
I mean, definitely
Cinnamon.
I'd say probably some
Nutmeg.
nutmeg.
Garlic?
So let's take a look at the actual list. I'm seeing cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, allspice, and cloves.
Pumpkin spice has really taken over here in the US, and now it's fall, so we're gonna try and find the best pumpkin spice tasting thing. But first, let's rank the most popular pumpkin spice item, besides the pie, the pumpkin spice latte.
At Dunkin', you'll find the pumpkin spice signature latte, which you can get hot or iced. It's 3 pumps of pumpkin sweetener, 3 pumps of vanilla unsweetened syrup, and it's topped with whipped cream, caramel, and cinnamon sugar. This is almost more desserty than the other pumpkin spice options we have today. It comes in 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. But this means that I do have to figure out the price per ounce for all of these, so let's do that. These prices are definitely more expensive than I remember. I do feel like Dunkin' is kind of creeping up there. It's kind of creeping up like next to Starbucks level prices, which I never would have seen coming. They're like supposed to be the cheaper option for quick coffee.
Here in the UK, the Dunkin' Pumpkin Spice Latte comes in 3 sizes. We have a small, a medium, and a large. Dunkin' Pumpkin is a bit of a tongue twister.
Ugh!
In classic Dunkin' fashion, this is really, really sweet.
It has like a medicinal quality to it almost.
I'd say the main taste is sugar rather than pumpkin spice. That is a sweet drink. Of course, when it comes to pumpkin spice, you have to talk about Starbucks. The Starbucks Pumpkin Spice Latte was kind of the face that launched 1,000 ships. It definitely brought pumpkin spice into the mainstream and spawned a ton of imitations across the other brands. Although Starbucks aren't credited with creating the pumpkin spice latte, in my opinion, they are definitely the ones that popularized it. Starbucks first released the pumpkin spice latte in 2003. Between 2003 and 2019, they'd sold over 424 million pumpkin spice lattes worldwide. That is a staggering number considering how little time it's available for. In the UK, the Starbucks PSL comes in 3 sizes: tall, grande, and venti. Look at the color on these. It's actually been a while since I had a Starbucks pumpkin spice latte.
The Starbucks Pumpkin Spice Latte also contains a pumpkin sauce made with real pumpkin puree, which I did not know. I assumed they just used a syrup that was pumpkin spice flavored. It also contains annetto, which is a natural food dye derived from the achiote tree. That's what gives it its orange color. Here in the US, the PSL comes in 4 sizes: the short, the tall, the grande, and the venti. This looks like the liquid in your painting cup. That's just a mix of all the colors you've been using that day.
They actually trademarked PSL, which is really impressive. Let's give the PSL a try.
I swear the taste of this has never changed, which I like. I like that it tastes the same as when I was 14 to now. This is definitely one of the more tame pumpkin spice lattes when it comes to the sweetness level, which I definitely prefer. I think that it has a much more natural tasting pumpkin taste too, even though it's more subtle in this one.
I get like a lot of the spices. Yeah, that is a It's earthy, I would say. It almost makes me feel like I'm a woodland fawn chewing on some tree bark. It's kind of the autumnal image that is conjuring up for me.
To be a Food Wars fan, you must know at this point that I am a bit of a basic. I look forward to seasonal things, I look forward to limited time things, and I gotta say, I do really like the pumpkin spice latte. I get them around the season. I should have worn a vest. After this, I'm going to a pumpkin patch. The white hat with the little puffy thing on here, right? Gotta do this. The fall season's finally here. I will say, compared to the Dunkin', this one tastes like a coffee drink. This tastes like a latte that has like a pumpkin spice flavor to it. But that's actually by design. The research and development team at Starbucks actually came up with their pumpkin spice latte by sampling pumpkin pie and sipping espresso at the same time. And guess what? We're gonna do the same. There it is. Yuli, come on with this. I could see them figuring out doing it this way, but they must have been like, shove the slice in my mouth and like kiss an espresso.
Our next pumpkin spice latte comes from Joe and the Juice. We have two sizes. There's a 12 ounce that retails for $6.65. This coffee, this tiny little coffee. And then there's a 16 ounce, which retails for $7.45. I don't know what's going on in the world of coffee, clearly. I just feel like we're making a lot of mistakes with these prices and what we're getting.
Joe and the Juice offers pumpkin spice lattes and they come in two sizes. We have a regular, which is advertised as being 12 ounces, and a large, which is advertised as 16 ounces. I do have to say, I do not like Joe and the Juice as a concept. I feel bad because the guy in there was really friendly this morning. It's one of those brands that's designed to cater specifically to your friend who is a bit too obsessed with their macros and their protein intake and just kind of bores everyone with that chat every time they bring it up that we move. Per ounce, the regular is one of the most expensive coffees we've had today.
It smells very gingery. That's actually what I smell the most.
I don't even understand what the flavor they're going for in this is. This is terrible.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's good coffee, but I'm only really getting the notes of ginger, and that's about it. So it doesn't feel like a pumpkin spice latte to me.
Of the ones I've tried so far, this sits like somewhere in the middle. Greggs is a bakery chain in the UK, which is very much beloved by Brits. Greggs pumpkin spice lattes in the UK come in two sizes, regular and large. I love Greggs. You don't get to talk about it much in Food Wars because you don't have it in the US, and I think you are missing out. I will say it has a slightly unappetizing, like grayish color to it, this one. I'd say of the ones I've tried so far, that's by far the least aggressive flavor. I am mostly just getting kind of latte from this one. I think personally, if I am choosing a flavored latte, I don't want a flavor assault, so this is kind of more up my street. But I think if you want a stronger pumpkin spice latte flavor, you might be better off elsewhere. One thing that's unique to Greggs so far is that when we ordered it, they actually gave us customization options for the sweetness. I actually quite like that. Sipping this one, I didn't get that burst of sweetness like I did from the Dunkin' latte, for example.
Krispy Kreme in the US offers pumpkin spice latte in usually 3, but today 2 sizes. Cannot get our hands on the small. We did get the medium and the large. We are once again going to measure to see what we are getting per actual fluid ounce. Easily the worst one. There is an aftertaste of this that I equate with like a chemically flavor to it. Like an acidic aftertaste is like, ooh.
It doesn't smell like any pumpkin spice latte I've had before. Tasting it, you definitely get a little bit more of the pumpkin spice flavor, but it's still pretty subtle, and I just don't think this is very good coffee. I don't think I like this one.
Now it's time to pick my favorite. I think by far the strongest flavor from any of these was the Starbucks one. Again, it wasn't necessarily the pumpkin I was tasting, but there were a lot of spices coming through there. I think Dunkin' probably had the next strongest taste, although a lot of what I got from that was sugar. And then I thought the Joe and the Juice and Greggs ones were quite mild actually in terms of the pumpkin spice flavor. All in all, if I had to pick a favorite, I think it would probably just be the Greggs pumpkin spice latte.
Let's start from the worst. I do feel like Joe and the Juice had not a great pumpkin spice flavor, which I think is kind of the whole point of this, so it feels unfair to move it forward in this. So let's keep Joe and the Juice at the end. Krispy Kreme was bad coffee, okay pumpkin spice flavor, so I think it can stay in our third place. Here is where we have to change things up. I still think Starbucks is the best pumpkin spice latte in terms of taste, the pumpkin spice flavor, the nice cozy, comforting feeling that it gives. I really do think that they deliver on that promise of what they wanted to do with this drink. This This is my number one.
Joan the Juice, I mean, I almost want to disqualify it. I didn't taste any pumpkin, anything in there. After that, the second worst, but not much better, was the Krispy Kreme one. Sweet artificial flavor, tasted gross and chemically, not a fan. Then Dunkin', I was not a fan when we first had it, and now I'm like, actually, maybe it's not so bad. Dunkin' drinks for me always tend to be a little bit like sweeter, and when I say stronger flavor, I've said medicinal. I'm not gonna get this, ever, but it's what you'd expect from Dunkin's. And hey, my favorite pumpkin spice latte is the most popular one. That's right, basic boy coming at ya, the PSL at Starbucks. Now, is there such a thing as a pumpkin spice tax? A study done in 2022 by Magnify Money found that pumpkin spice foods on average cost 14.1% more than non-pumpkin spice foods. Right here is a Starbucks Grande Latte, not pumpkin spice. It's $5.25. And over here we have the Starbucks Grande Pumpkin Spice Latte, $6.45. That's a 22.9% increase across these two. Here's my wipe down on it. I don't think it's more expensive because the pumpkin stuff is more expensive to do or it costs more labor. I also think the reason it's more expensive is because it's limited and seasonal. Hey, that's business, baby!
Let's compare the nutritional information for a pumpkin spice latte and a regular latte, and a grande regular latte in the UK.
Over here we have the Grande Pumpkin Spice Latte from Starbucks, and here we have the regular Grande Latte. So that's like way more sugar and therefore way more calories. I might be second guessing these pumpkin spice lattes.
I guess there is a chance that the increase in sugar and calories is being offset by the nutritional benefits of pumpkin. Realistically though, I do think they're using such a small amount that you probably aren't benefiting from it. Here are some pumpkin spice items you'll only find in the UK.
And let's get into some exclusive pumpkin spice items you'll only find in the US.
And here's even more pumpkin spice items you only find in the US.
At a US Dunkin', we've got frozen pumpkin coffee. I do want to taste this. You know what's interesting? I feel like pumpkin spice is a flavor that for me doesn't work when it's cold. It's good, it's just, it feels wrong. You know what I mean? Next, we have the almond spice coffee, nutty pumpkin iced coffee, pumpkin ice macchiato. I'm a little nervous by the look of this macchiato, but let's give her a twirl and see if that helps. There we go. I taste the pumpkin spice a lot less with the macchiato. I feel like I'm mostly just getting the espresso that I think is in here. And lastly, we have the pumpkin cold brew with cold foam that has disintegrated. We also have the pumpkin donut, which is amazing. I really like these. And they just introduced this apple cider donut. I've had it. It's not good. Go to a real farm if you want a good apple cider donut.
Our Dunkin' has a couple of autumn exclusives. Here we have a pumpkin spiced ring donut. It's kind of like gently glazed and it has this dusting of the pumpkin spice flavoring on top. I will be honest, most of what I'm getting from that is cinnamon. So it's kind of just like a cinnamon sugar donut, which is as tasty as it sounds. Beyond that, we have a candy apple donut. It's pretty good. Most of the apple comes from the filling. There's like an apple jam type of thing on the inside that's pretty tasty. Here in the UK, the seasonal options at Dunkin' have already pivoted kind of more towards Halloween, as evidenced by Frank over here, as well as Chocolate Monster. He just looks more surprised rather than monstrous, to be honest. It's going to be a bit of a theme here, but for the most part, Halloween is kind of the next big social event here, and we don't go too heavy on fall items. I'm the monster now.
Now moving on to exclusive Starbucks items, they got drinks and they got food. There's a pumpkin cream cold brew, an iced pumpkin cream chai. There is a pumpkin cream cheese muffin and a pumpkin and pepita loaf. Oh yeah, it's not bad. Nice flavor, not too strong. Next up for the drinks, we got the iced pumpkin cream chai. Not a chai guy. No, that'd be the chai guys. The chai guys? No, the chai guys. We only try chai drinks. Nobody watches our channel, 0 subscribers. Check out the chai guys. All right, chai guy says that's all right. Now this is a pumpkin cream cheese muffin. Let's be honest what we're doing here. This is a muffin with frosting. It's not cream cheese, it's frosting. I don't care what it says on the tin, that's what it is. It's fantastic. You also may have noticed these apple flavored drinks and snacks. We got an apple crisp oat milk macchiato and an apple croissant. I'm a bit apprehensive. I like apple flavored stuff just fine. Apples and coffee, it's drinkable. It just really feels like there's a column of apple and a column of macchiato, and they're not working together. This is like those fast food McDonald's apple pies. Croissant, sure. Apple and pastries, like I mean croissants are using it very loosely, but an apple pastry, yeah, that's all right. In the coffee, not so much.
There actually are quite a few pumpkin spice offerings at a UK Starbucks. Here we have a pumpkin marbled loaf cake. It's not that small, it just broke in half. That's pretty good. As you'd expect, it's a lot of the same flavors that you get in the pumpkin spice latte, just in cake form with like a cream cheese frosting. Something I've never tried before and I think might be new is this pumpkin smoothie. The ingredients describe this as a blend of apple juice with banana, apple, pumpkin, and ginger purees with some warm spices. The label does say it's 18% pumpkin puree, so there's actually like a significant amount of pumpkin in here. It's not the best. The main taste is apple juice, as the label suggests. Very appley. Not really getting much of the pumpkin. What I am getting is kind of almost like a baby food texture and consistency. Then we also have a couple of things which aren't pumpkin spice flavored, but I would consider a seasonal flavor here in the UK. Firstly, we have this toffee apple muffin. Generally, like toffee apples for me, the main memory I have is like bonfire night and toffee apples. So I would still kind of associate this with this time of year. And then here we also have a maple and pecan swirl. Also, it's not pumpkin flavored, but we do have these very adorable little pumpkin brownies. Another pumpkin thing on the Starbucks menu that sounded wild to me was the, and let me get this right, signature pumpkin cream iced oat shaken espresso. It's not bad, it's just kind of a bit weird. It's something to do with like the texture of the oat milk and the way that that interacts with the latte ingredients. We've done some Googling, and as far as we can tell, they're using like a pumpkin cream that contains dairy and then putting that on top of an oat beverage. I think typically you will pick one dairy or dairy alternative and stick with it. I don't know, seems a little weird. We also have this salted maple caramel latte. It's just a caramel latte. I don't understand where the maple has come from there. I don't taste any maple in that. It's just, I mean, it's nice. It's a caramel latte. Those are good. But where's the maple? Where's the maple and where's the salt? Oh man.
I have not been looking forward to this next thing. This is the Dunkin' Spiked Pumpkin Spice Latte. I have had alcohol and coffee mixed together before. I don't know what it is about adding the pumpkin spice flavor to that combination that makes me feel ill. Like I'm actually scared to see what it tastes like, but we're gonna taste it. It already smells really strong. I'm kind of gagging a little bit, but let's pour it out and see what we're working with. Oh. It's the least pleasant brown color I've ever seen. For the record, this is what I consider a good looking coffee color. Compared to this, like, if I got served this at Dunkin' versus this one, I just know I'm gonna have a bad day. Like this, if you see this color in your cup, you're gonna have a bad day. Your coffee's bad, it's not gonna be good. It needs to be something like this, Bottoms up. Oh my God, I have to like not smell it as I'm drinking it. It's somehow sour. It's creamy in the negative, not in a positive way, and very pumpkin spice forward, but that's terrible. That is really, really bad. I don't know why it tastes so sour and tart. This isn't old, right? That is not good. That is really not good. I'm so sorry, Dunkin'. I still love you, but don't try to make alcohol. Moving on, we have an exclusive from McDonald's, the pumpkin and cream pie. I've found that with McDonald's pies, every time they try to experiment or try a new flavor, I don't really like them. I really love their regular apple pie. Okay, what I will say, it does smell like pumpkin, but more so in the savory vegetal sense. Like it smells like pumpkin, the vegetable, and less like pumpkin, the thing we're utilizing in a dessert. Weirdly, this leans more pumpkin the vegetable to me rather than a pumpkin pie filling, which is what I think they were trying to go for. I don't know what it is. I guess I can't be mad at it because it does taste like pumpkin, just not the kind of pumpkin I was expecting in this.
Costa Coffee is a coffee shop chain here in the UK. You might start to see them in the US more in the future, as I think they got bought by Coca-Cola a couple of years ago. They do have a full autumn menu, but again, they've gone down the maple route rather than the pumpkin spice route. They've spilled and stuck to this delivery cup thing, so I'm gonna have to sip it very carefully like this, but this is the maple hazel hot chocolate. Yeah, it's not too bad. I guess it's like kind of a Nutella type of flavor with the hazel and the chocolate going on. And definitely like a bit more sweetness, so some kind of maple syrup adjacent flavor going on there too. And then here we have a maple hazel latte. Yeah, it's okay. I feel like I've run into this with Starbucks Christmas menus in the past where trying to get like a hazelnut flavor syrup into a coffee is difficult, ends up tasting quite artificial, and they've kind of hit that same problem. In terms of the seasonal snacks at Costa, you can also have this nuts about maple slice. Like a gently mapley, kind of like fudgy flavor in the middle. And looking more ahead to Halloween maybe, there's this very cute little ghost biscuit.
Now this isn't pumpkin spice, but it's apple flavored and fall. And hey, the apple stuff is taking over, so why not give it a shout out as well? We have the Waterloo spiced apple sparkling water. Oh no, this sucks. Ugh. Yeah, I was right, this is bad. It's like carbonated apple juice, but also like the weakest apple juice flavor possible. It's not good.
Sticking with coffee shops just for now, we have a spiced apple and pecan muffin from Pret. Yeah, not bad. Cinnamony, gingery. Moving back to Greg's, they have a couple of seasonal items, including this pumpkin spiced donut. And then Greg's also have this pumpkin biscuit. Spooky. It's like a gingerbread biscuit with a little bit of chocolate on the outside. It's nice.
We also have an exclusive from Pop-Tarts, the frosted pumpkin pie flavor. I don't think I've had a Pop-Tart in like maybe 10 years, so interested to see what this tastes like. Do you see any of that pumpkin? It smells really pumpkin-y. I can really smell, it smells like pumpkin pie filling, so that makes me excited. It tastes like pumpkin pie filling. I do think the spice though leans a little gingerbready and not so much pumpkin pie, but I can definitely see the pumpkin pie inspiration.
Our studio is close to a really big Tesco supermarket here in the UK, and we looked up online which pumpkin spice products they offered in store. We actually only found 3 options. We have an air freshener, we have this Califia Farms pumpkin spice coffee, and even that's kind of an American brand. And we have this new Covent Garden Soup Co. pumpkin spice soup.
Trader Joe's always goes all out with the pumpkin stuff this time of year. Here is everything that we could carry. This is not even scratching the surface of all of the pumpkin items that they actually have in store, but it's a decent chunk of stuff. One interesting thing that I did find were these spicy pumpkin samosas. These sound incredible to me. I'm very into the more savory pumpkin options. Here is what the spicy pumpkin samosas look like. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is so good. They have this Trader Joe's brand pumpkin spiced teeny tiny pretzels. They have a yogurt flavored coating and they have crushed pumpkin spiced pumpkin seeds actually on the pretzels. I've never had these before. That sounds pretty nice though. They are teeny tiny. Oh my God. That is so cute. That is delightful. That pretzel is what saved it for me, the little saltiness from the pretzel. These are good. That is really good. We've got these mini hold the cone ice cream cones. I've seen these in a bunch of different flavors, but they do have this pumpkin and ginger one that I've never seen before. I am not the biggest fan of ginger, but I do understand that it probably goes well with a lot of fall flavors. These are cute. Oh my God. I love them. They look like play food. I cannot deny that this is very pumpkin spicy. I cannot deny that. It's just like not my favorite form of pumpkin spice that I've had. So this is one of the few items at Trader Joe's that's not Trader Joe's brand. It's the Danish Kringle from a bakery in Racine, Wisconsin. They get these shipped in. They do different flavors throughout the year, but during fall, we have a pumpkin one. So this is the pumpkin caramel Kringle. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. It's huge and very heavy. I'm not getting very much pumpkin spice flavor. I think that because the caramel frosting, I think, is such a strong flavor, it's kind of drowning out any sort of pumpkin taste that I'm supposed to be getting. I don't really taste any pumpkin, but it is good. I'll give them that.
Can you believe it? We got pumpkin spice flavored cereal. Good God, you can get pumpkin spice frosted mini wheats, pumpkin spice special K, and pumpkin spice frosted flakes. What I think is funny about this one is they got my guy Tony the Tiger in his own fall vest. How hilarious is that? Can you grab me the normal box? Oh God. I taste a difference, but this, it tastes closer to pie than it does pumpkin, but I don't know if this is necessary.
Oreo is always releasing new flavors, so of course they have a pumpkin spice cookie. These are the pumpkin spice Oreos. Oh, the pumpkin spice just hit me. It really does smell like pumpkin pie. I think this particular Oreo uses the golden cookie. That's okay. I feel like it's very cinnamon forward. Like it just kind of tastes like a graham cracker with regular Oreo stuffing.
I will say pumpkin as a brand or as a symbol does sell pretty well here in the UK around the autumn season. We were able to find this pumpkin spice and everything nice glass mug. While autumn, pumpkins, and Halloween have definitely found their way into the decor styles of many Brits, I just don't think it's really made its way into the palettes yet. Most of our seasonal items, like I say, have already moved on to Halloween, which is kind of the next big event in our calendar. Here we have these Mr. Kipling terrifying toffee whirls. I'm not sure what's scary about a toffee whirl. We have some Mr. Kipling chocolate and orange slices. We have some Halloween chocolate orange cookies. I don't know what makes these Halloween other than the packaging. Chocolate and orange is an interesting one because I personally associate that more with Christmas time flavors, but I guess the kind of black and orange color scheme could be considered Halloween-y. And we have these serene or scream toffee apple slices.
Let's talk about pumpkin spice as a concept. Pumpkin spice actually has some deep roots in early American cooking. Colonists used pumpkins and added spices brought over from Europe to create pies, including the pumpkin pie we all know and love. Some of us, not me. I don't love pumpkin pie. In the 19th century, pumpkin spice became more standardized in recipes, and by the 20th century, companies began packaging pumpkin spice for convenience, so no more mortar and pestle. Thompson and Taylor Spice Company created the first ready-mixed pumpkin pie spice. The 9 spices in the mix weren't disclosed, but food historians believe it could have been a mix of cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and cloves, along with possible additions like mace, cardamom, star anise, and black pepper. That's an interesting addition, black pepper. Nowadays, I think it's mostly associated not only with Thanksgiving, but with the entire fall season. I would consider pumpkin spice becoming available as sort of like a marker for the changing season. You know it's fall when you start seeing the pumpkin stuff, even if we're literally in week 2 of August. It's just how my brain works now.
I'd be lying if I said pumpkin spice wasn't a popular flavor here in the UK, but as we've shown today, it's nowhere near on the level that it is in the US. I think for me, the main thing is that we do not have a Thanksgiving meal here in the UK. Pumpkin pie is obviously very important to the Thanksgiving meal, and Brits just never had that exposure to pumpkin pie, pumpkin spices as a flavor that's really kind of embedded it in the consciousness of Americans. I'd go even further and say that the autumn season just isn't as big a deal in the UK as it is in the US. Kind of basing this on the movies and TV shows that I've seen, but I feel like in the US, you guys have this romanticized view of autumn. For you guys, it's like apple picking, pumpkin patches, the weather's still pretty good, it's like sunny but not too hot. In the UK, generally speaking, as soon as it hits autumn, it just means rain and shorter days.
Pumpkin spice is still a flavor I consider polarizing. You either love it or you hate it, or you just get bullied for liking it. But it's also a flavor that gets put into seemingly everything whenever fall rolls around. We've seen pumpkin spice cheese, pumpkin spice deodorant, pumpkin spice Spam. I would try that, but it's a lot. It's a lot. There's even those pumpkin spice dude wipes. Why do men need their own brand of flushable wipes? And why would you want it to be pumpkin spice scented? Lately, pumpkin spice has been popping up in America earlier and earlier. The Starbucks pumpkin spice latte was first released on September 8th, 2003, and in 2024, it was released on August 22nd. Since holiday or seasonal releases tend to give a financial boost to companies like Starbucks, the reason we see pumpkin spice earlier each year might just be because they know people will still buy it. It doesn't matter if we're actually in fall or not. But it does feel weird walking into a grocery store or a coffee shop and being surrounded by fall imagery and flavors when it's literally still summer. It's very bizarre.
What a journey we've had today. Pumpkin spice flavored in general. I love pumpkin pie. I look forward to it every season. I am surprised that most of the things that we had today were terrible. If this video's taught me anything, it's that like Starbucks is the only one doing it right? My favorite things, pumpkin spice latte. I like that pumpkin cold brew. I did like the apple croissant guy.
Of the pumpkin spice flavored things that I had today, I think my main highlights have to be the Greg's latte and the pumpkin loaf from Starbucks.
I think out of all the stuff I tried today, most of my favorite items were from that big Trader Joe's pumpkin haul. I loved those samosas. I loved the pretzels. I think because they make so many pumpkin spice, pumpkin flavored items, they really have a big pool. And when you have a big pool, you're probably gonna find stuff that's good.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe so you never miss an upload. We upload new episodes every Sunday. And leave a comment if there's a restaurant or food that you want us to compare next.